Hey there, you're listening to You Still Going On About That with Rob Israel and Joseph K. You can find us anywhere you could download podcasts. You could also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YSGOAT. Thanks for listening.
I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going on about
that?
All right, Joseph, it is May 17th.
Yeah.
It's going to be May 18th.
The year, it'll be half over before we know it.
Yeah.
School is coming to an end.
I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's funny, living, I moved, but it's not much different. The schedule for the schools. When I grew up in Long Island, New York, school one didn't start till after Labor Day.
Yep. Yeah.
But didn't get out till the end of June. July 4th would be a week, 2 weeks away.
Right. Right.
And here it's July 4th's halfway. You're halfway done with summer by the time you get to July 4th.
Yeah. Yeah, up north I grew up in New Jersey, and I remember we started school in September. That was even on calendars, you'd get the picture on the calendar for September was a school bus.
Before we get into everything, what are we going to talk about today?
It's an odd hodgepodge of topics. We're going to talk about, you got on Blue Sky, so you're going to give us an update as to Blue Sky, which is a Twitter clone. We're talking about Elon Musk and his journey on the red pill.
Yeah, it is full on. He is the red pill.
It is something. We're talking about Florida stuff. Ron DeSantis is experiencing kind of a slow motion meltdown. So we're going to talk about him. And then a school district in Florida, Escambia County, got sued by Penguin Random House, a writers guild, and a bunch of writers and some parents. We'll talk about that. The school district's going to get annihilated in court. That's it's going to be a beatdown. We're going to talk about a couple elections, one in Jacksonville, Florida, one in Colorado Springs. We're going to talk about an abortion pill hearing that's going on at a appellate court. Some Rudy Giuliani stuff, always good time. Then we're going to talk about that Daniel Penny. He's the vigilante who killed someone a week ago. And
I hate that term because I always feel like vigilante is stopping a crime or whatever. Yeah. And I would just call this guy a straight up murderer.
Yeah.
There's no proof that guy he killed. There's no proof that guy did anything that would warrant anything except for the fact that he was homeless. And
that is a good point.
I think that term vigilante, is being isn't being used right because I think he's just a murderer.
Yeah, I've kind of evolved my thoughts on that over the last week. I remember we were talking about it last week.
You know what?
Yeah, I'll save it
that
for
thought.
But we're going to talk about we're going to
evolve even more.
We're going to finish with something, just kind of a fun little story of Lauren Boebert's.
Yeah, fun. Yeah, I don't want to call this a fun story.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I heard Lauren Boebert's getting divorced and is asking for privacy.
Yeah, the person who was reading out of what's her name? Biden's daughter?
Yeah.
I guess
the one
leaked or something, and Boebert was laughing about it and shit.
Right, the one who was live tweeting the Speaker of the House's whereabouts as an insurrection is demanding privacy.
Yeah, I love that. That's always fun.
All right, so we're going to start with Blue Sky. You are on Blue Sky. Blue Sky was started by.
I don't want to talk about that yet.
Oh, what do you want to talk about?
Well, there's been a couple things I've been watching, but are you up to date on Yellow Jackets?
No, it's odd that you said you had asked me that a little earlier. My wife and I were just talking, yesterday, about how we haven't kept up with it. We watched the first couple episodes of the new season, liked it plenty, and then just haven't caught up with it.
The first couple were kind of weak, but it's been really picking up. And last week's episode was pretty damn awesome. So,
well, I usually
watch it. So,
yeah, I will. I mean, I'm definitely a fan. I liked the first season. Yellow Jackets for me, like I had trouble getting into season 2 because there's a lot of plots that were coming together, and I didn't really have a clear recollection of them.
And they're bringing new characters, and I feel like the one issue I have with the show is it's like, you feel like, in the first season, you're only introduced to like four of the women post, in the present day, and you're like, damn, how many of these girls die? And there were a couple of deaths in the beginning, but then there's like all this other stuff, and then you find out one other person's alive, and then this season you find out there's another person alive, and then like feel like we're gonna find more survivors than we were thought to be. I don't know. I like the show. I think my only issue with it is one of these weird shows where it's like, I don't know if it's a budget thing or how it's produced. It either looks really good and cinematic, or it just looks like your everyday, like,
Lifetime movie.
What?
Lifetime movie.
No, like Desperate Housewives or something shit like that. Like, I mean, I said that to my wife. My wife was like, "No, come on, that show is stupid as hell." And I said, "Yeah, but some of these plots are kind of stupid too."
I would say I look. It's been a long time, and I could maybe be wrong, but if I remember right, the first season of Desperate Housewives was actually pretty good. If I remember right,
it just got really dumb as it went.
Yeah,
the first season was pretty damn good.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying, like, maybe
you're right.
It just looks like a TV show.
Well, a lot of the plots, the modern day plots, are first season Desperate Housewives esque.
Yeah, like the affair, she having an affair, then he dies, and all that stuff. I guess it's like the fact that it looks like a TV show. I'm like, but is there anything wrong with that? I guess maybe I'm just spoiled because I watch shows like Mandalorian or whatever, and they try to make them look as like cinematic as possible.
Yeah.
And you forget, like, you're watching fucking TV. It's a TV show,
Yeah, Mandalorian and Andor looked great, like film quality,
But even like some other shows, I watched like the Pete Davidson show, and it's filmed in a way that you feel like you're watching kind of like a movie, or there's like HBO shows that look really good. I'm not even talking like Soprano stuff. Like, it never like just looked like a TV show. It always had like that, like a little more to it, like it felt like film or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
It looked like a cheap TV show. And Yellow Jackets, I feel like it's like sometimes it looks really good, and sometimes it just looks like closed set.
Yeah.
Like just blocking dialogue. It's like I'm watching just a fucking TV show. And again, is that a bad thing? No. Maybe I'm just spoiled. That's all.
Yeah. Oh, I will catch up with Yellow Jackets. That's a show I like. The other one you've been watching that I have not kept up with is Succession.
Have you even finished season 3?
No. I'm like, I have not watched any of the new season. I do. Here's my problem with it is that the episodes
I like it.
The episodes are like an hour long, and
most shows are like that.
Yeah, no, most shows like most hour-long shows are really like
Yellow Jackets
40 minutes. Yeah, well, maybe that's and so like I really need, like, to build momentum. I need like 3 or 4 hours where I can just watch this show, and I haven't had that lately. My kid's got like school wrapping up. It's like the end of the year, and she does this martial arts.
Shits, dude, watching in the bathroom, man.
Well, the other thing that complicates it is that my wife and I watch both of those together, and we both need to be able to watch it at the same time.
You're just gonna have to start watching it on your own, and then play dumb when it's time to watch it.
Because like Andor,
just make sure you don't slip and say, "Oh, I love that part. That's my favorite part coming out."
Andor, I always watch, like, all the shows I watch alone. I have no problems keeping up with, because just what you said, like, I can watch a half hour, I can pick up an episode, here and there.
We watched like Sweet Tooth and the season 2, and we watched that as a family. And my son would only watch like maybe like 2 episodes at most at a time. And like me and my wife would like
sneak out
some days, like we'll burn. No, we didn't do that. I wanted so bad to, but we because we'll burn like 4 episodes, so like pretty quick. you know? I was like, no, we'll wait. But I really did want to just watch it.
That's funny. You know, so speaking of Sweet Tooth, I have not seen that. I need to kind of revisit it. But I watched this guy on TikTok, and he's like this old British guy, and he discusses obscure novels, real straight-laced, like literary criticism. They're really, if you like books, really fascinating. But he does like all these kind of archaic classics. And then out of the blue the other day, he did Tank Girl, the graphic novels.
Like the one that got turned into the Lori Petty movie.
Yeah, and he was talking about how the
Box
movie
office bomb.
He said the movie wasn't very good, but he was talking about the first 3 runs of
Well,
Tank
doesn't that
Girl.
all lead to gorillas?
Oh, I don't
Tank
know.
Girl, the artist, at least. I don't know. Yeah, because that shit's like shit up from gorillas. Like gorillas
Could be.
Whatever the artist was, I think it's taken from Tank Girl.
That's funny. That makes a lot of sense.
I'm gonna look it up because I swore like, so I remember when I first saw gorillas, I was like, this shit looks like Tank Girl. Let's see.
Right. Well, anyway, it was just funny because like I don't know, it was odd. Comic books. He's the co-creator of the virtual band Gorillaz.
James Christopher Hewlett.
Yeah.
Is an English comic book creator. Yep, he's the co-creator of the comic book Tank Girl, co-creator of the virtual band Gorillaz.
That makes sense. I mean, it looks the same, so I don't.
There's a similar vibe in the art.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially like when you see how she looks. There's that iconic cover of Tank Girl when she's wearing like the big missile bra.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have, as a result of all that stuff, I haven't kept up with those pieces of pop culture. I've been like finishing up. I finished up that show, The Ark, which was like fine. Still watching Ted Lasso, which I have kind of mixed feelings about.
I watched the Pete Davidson show on Peacock, Bupkis.
Yeah, was that good?
I mean, it's fine. It reminded me of you ever watched the Louis show on FX?
The Louis C.K. show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
loved that show before I liked that a lot. I thought
before they canceled it, because it was my favorite is one season. He literally just created that Jim Jar. You ever watch any Jim Jarmusch movies?
Yeah.
There's that.
Jim Jarmusch?
Yeah.
I
think it's his first movie or whatever. It's the one with the guy's dating like this foreign girl. He falls in love with her, and then like I don't even remember the name of it. But I gotta look this up real quick.
He did Mystery. I thought Mystery Train was his first one, but maybe not. He did that one with Johnny Depp, Dead Man. That was real odd.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna say it. Where is it? Night on Earth, Mystery Train, Down by Law.
Down by Law with Tom Waits.
Is it Stranger Than Paradise?
Okay, that would make sense.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and there's a guy who always talks about wanting to go to the dog track.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, I'll go to the dog track. And then like he starts dating this like Romanian girl or whatever, and they literally recreated the entire movie, one of the seasons of Louis. And he didn't just recreate the point. He hired the actress who was in that movie like 20 years later. You know, it's like literally. I'm like watching the movie. I'm like, it's fucking
the
Stranger in Paradise dragged out over like a season of Louis.
That's weird.
I mean, talk about fucking masturbation. Jeez.
Yeah.
And
the other
should make those jokes when we're talking about
about Louis. The other thing
it reminded me of, but that's what I'm saying. The Bupkis show reminded me of Louis, like kind of that style.
Yeah, I can see it. I liked Louis the show. And also the new Zelda video game got released very recently, which I
don't play games.
I don't play a ton of them, but
I mean I play them, but like I play games that I don't have to like. I'm not gonna play a game like Zelda. I'm just not gonna invest the time into it. I need to like draw.
Right. Oh yeah.
I gotta go on Blue Sky now and Twitter. You know, I gotta like go back and forth.
You're on Blue Sky. You said it's thematically very similar to Twitter.
I was gonna talk about some things before we got there.
Oh, okay.
Pop culture stuff.
All right. What do you got?
Because we got so much other bullshit.
Yeah.
All right. So I saw some interesting news. Loki comes out in October.
All right.
And supposedly they're gonna drop the entire season of that. They announced that show Echo, which So do you anyone watch the Hawkeye? Was it literally called Hawkeye?
Yes, it was called Hawkeye.
Was it? It didn't have like a different name, the Hawkeye show. I thought it. Yeah, it was called Hawkeye. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of the plot was from the series called My Life as a Weapon.
Yeah.
But I think they just called it Hawkeye. Yeah.
So one of the characters they introduced was this character named Echo, and they announced shortly that they were filming a spin-off series.
Yeah.
And then there was a new CEO, and they're like, okay, we're making way too much stuff. We're making like these like third-tier characters, and like I guess they're looking at like I think this is a smart move on their part. There was like rumors like, what are they gonna do with the show? Is it gonna come out? Mm-hmm. And they said they are going to drop all 6 episodes instead of doing it week by week.
Yeah.
Drop all 6. And I think that's actually a good idea, because I think that's a good way to get people hyped on it and watch it, knock it out, versus like maybe it's not that good, or because like characters are not known enough that people are not going to tune in every week to watch it. And I think you're right. I think like if I watch a show and it's not great, but there's a second episode immediately available, I'll give it a shot. Right, because you want to like, maybe it gets better. Right, but if I have to wait a week, it does. Yeah. Moon Knight did. I thought. What? Moon Knight was like that. It picked up each new episode was better than the last. Yeah, so like, and I think like I think even Moon Knight probably would have benefited from coming out, but I think that did pretty good. I don't think that one was a bomb. I think so. Maybe Miss Marvel should have came out all one week. I don't know. But I think the Echo thing, the thing is, though, Echo is probably even more or less known than Miss Marvel, because at least Miss Marvel had like multiple comic books and the name Marvel, like it's recognizable. Yeah, exactly. I mean, right? Yeah, and it's tied to Captain Marvel, which was a big movie. Well, Echo, it's like you haven't even introduced Daredevil yet, really, except for that She-Hulk episode. Yeah. She's like a B character in the Hawkeye series, like right. I bet most people probably forgot her by now. So I think it's a smart move. They're going to dump them all at once. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's probably a good strategy. I mean, I can see arguments for and against that. I think it's probably a good strategy. I don't know what the argument against it would be. I think it's for Disney initially the argument was that it would maintain subscriptions better. I think like this point they have so much content now that they could start doing more shit like dumping them on, like just like Netflix does. Yeah, like I think there's enough content, and it probably could benefit from, if it sucks, then like it's there if anyone wants to watch it, but like you're not dragging it out every fucking week. And it's a hit. Go ahead. What? They're also getting new content like distributed throughout the year. Like they just released, I think it was today or yesterday, or maybe it's coming tomorrow, but the new Ant-Man is going to be on Disney. Yeah, probably in 3 months, the new Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be on Disney. So like they will have big tent type. I mean, they already have like all those Marvel shows on there already, and all the Marvel movies. Like I get it when like Mandalorian first appeared on Disney Plus, they didn't have as much content. Yeah, they didn't even. I think they only had like 8 of the Marvel movies up, like or 10 of them. They didn't even have them all. Yeah, all held up still and weird. And honestly, they didn't even have all the classic Disney movies, if I remember right. Right, and they didn't have. I don't think they even had all the Star Wars stuff up yet either. Yeah, they had the first. I think that. Well, it might not be true, but regardless, they didn't have the same amount of content. Supposedly, they're starting to get all the Spider-Man movies from Sony. Yeah. I saw Homecoming and Venom are up, and then I think by the end of the month or early next month, they're going to get Far From Home, or not far, whatever it was, No Way Home, or I don't know. Yeah, the second one, Far From Home, and then No Way Home. I think it's the third. And then Venom Carnage movie is going to come out too. Yeah, so that's cool. So I think that's a good idea, and it'll be out when Loki's coming out every week. So I think that could be maybe work in Echo's favor too. If people are paying
Yeah,
Loki and
I
they see that, they could be like, "Oh, fuck, I'll watch that too."
I have to admit, I'm not like super looking forward to Echo. I'm not like, I don't despise the
That's what I
character or anything, but like,
right, because it's like it's interesting. She's got the villain in the show is called the Hood, and he's an interesting character. I remember this comic came out like in the late 90s, I think it was the late 90s. It was the whole premise. I think Brian King Vaughan wrote it,
mhm.
famous for like Y the Last Man and Saga.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The
Saga
story,
was great.
it was a miniseries that came out, and it was basically like the origin of a villain. Kind of like still like a little bit of a hero, but he's a bad guy who gets this demonic cloak or whatever and it's like he doesn't become a superhero, he becomes a better criminal. And it was an
Nice.
interesting
This
and
will help me with my crime. This will.
yeah, exactly, yeah. And but it's like done in a weird perspective where you're like still kind of rooting for him. He's
Yeah.
not like the Joker or something,
Right.
but he's not a good person. And I remember that premise was interesting. That character's popped up here and there over the years of Marvel, so I think that could be an interesting, if they do it like the comic and explain it.
Yeah.
It could be a cool story within there.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
It could work. It could work. I mean, it's
if the Kingpin shows up in it again, that'd be awesome. If Daredevil pops up in it, that's a possibility because
the new Daredevil looks amazing. If it's anything like he was in She-Hulk.
I thought that was great. Like some people like, oh, did they? I said, oh, did they ruin Daredevil? I'm like, no, he's a comic book character.
Yeah, I like the Daredevil on Netflix just fine, but the Daredevil that I saw in She-Hulk was a Daredevil I'd really want to see a lot of. It was just a lot more entertaining. I was never a huge Daredevil fan in the comics. I remember buying his books on occasion, but
Frank Miller did that run and it made Daredevil like a darker hero. But like if you look at like Daredevil, the earlier shows, he is like a little more like, I don't know, not completely miserable.
Yeah. It's fine. I mean, I always kind of like in my head lumped him together with Spider-Man, kind of being like a Spider-Man-ish character. Spider-Man's obviously a lot more funny, and
they didn't even just do that. To get sales, they put Spider-Man on the cover of Daredevil #1 when he came out in the 60s.
That makes sense. I remember when I was a real little kid, because I lived in New Jersey, I'd buy those comics. I'd go up to the 7-Eleven with my dad and buy them. And I remember, I mean, they're both set in like yeah, I mean, like they all kind of like added up.
Kids, I got a great new hero for you. He's just like Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. What's the deal with this guy? Well, his name's Daredevil.
Right.
Okay, that's a cool name. Yeah. What's his deal? Well, he could flip around.
Good.
What?
He hears good.
He hears really good. Oh, that's cool. Does he see really good too? No, he's blind. Oh.
Yeah.
But he has sonar powers. Right. What's sonar? Well, it's kind of like this thing I really can't explain 100%.
Yeah.
It's fine, but I will, depending on the plot, use this power as a way.
It's kind of like, yeah. It is an odd one. It's like, okay, so you're blind.
Can he climb walls and shoot webs?
No.
Does he make jokes? Not really.
Yeah. It's a weird one too. Like, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm all for like representation and like having characters that have disabilities. And
why isn't the actor really blind?
Why wasn't the drawing literally blind?
Well, that's like actually like that's
why didn't they have blind artists? Why didn't they have
why did I feel like I fall down that rabbit hole, but like
it just seemed like when you take a character with a disability and you make them extraordinary in some very unusual way, you're almost like working against the representation. You know what I mean? Like,
well, he did. Here's a fun little fact about Daredevil. So like his origin is basically was helping a man cross the street, an old man cross the street, and a car came and like there was an accident and toxic waste spilled and it blinded him, but it gave him all those powers.
Right.
But
that was the second origin. The original one that they scrapped was rampant masturbation as a child.
Yes. He
That's
also there. I remember Stan Lee was he was talking about. He's like, "Hey kids, he has hairy palms." Excelsior.
I do remember the origin story. Yeah, he was a
my Daredevil's famous hairy palms. I'm glad they scrapped the origin story for the more fun toxic waste spill.
Yes,
instead of chronic masturbation. I was amazed that when they, the comic coming out just a couple of years after the whole EC, what was that called? Seduction of the Innocent.
Yeah,
that came out. Marvel's like, well, we're going to put this book out where the hero.
There are those great parallel issues where Aunt May would say, like, with great power comes great responsibility, and then in Daredevil's mom would be like, "You'll go blind,"
and get hairy palms.
So yeah. Well, anyway, all right. So I am, though, all kidding aside, looking forward to the Daredevil series. I think that's going to be great.
All right. Well, I was going to talk about Succession, but you didn't watch it.
No. I do like it. It's kind of a slog for me.
Well, they did an episode about the election, but I'm not going to get into it. I'm ready to move on. Talk about the things we said we were going to talk about.
Okay. All right.
Daredevil's origin. the real origin of Daredevil. Not. You ever seen that movie Kentucky Fried Movie? Wasn't that?
Yeah. God, I think you're right. Yeah. I think you're right.
Palms and go blind. Sounds painful, Harry.
What's the link between that and going blind? I don't understand. Like, a lot of those folk tales have like a logical link, but
I don't know how you would go blind.
It just seems like such an improbable outcome.
Aiming your semen into going straight into your eyes. They're like,
even then, it seems like you could recover. But anyway, all right. So,
the hairy palms. I'm going to end this real quick. The only thing I can think about the hairy palms is that, like, you are just feverishly masturbating, and you get the stuff on, and
right,
the pubes that came off of you.
Yuck.
And then stick to that.
No, clearly it's you develop lycanthropy, and then I don't know who was teaching you how things work as a kid.
Sorry,
it's actually
I was trying to give the scientific
the most well-known way to contract lycanthropy, like
chronic masturbation,
right? The werewolf disease.
Werewolf.
Yeah. All right. So you joined.
Speaking of werewolves,
you joined Blue Sky.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say I got an invite code from someone. Someone contacted me and said,
"Nice,
got one for you. You want it?" I said, "Yes."
Yeah.
And once you put that code in, you're in. That bullshit wait list. I mean, I'm still on that wait list. Like, I put it in like a month ago.
Yeah. I thought I put mine in longer ago, but I looked recently and it was only like, apparently, like, I mean, it was like 5 or 6 weeks ago, but I would have sworn I had done that months ago.
I'm curious when they're going to roll it out 100%. I mean, it's still technically in the beta stage. It's basically just Twitter.
Yeah.
It really is. It's not much different. The only big thing that's missing right now is it doesn't have does it have DMs? I don't think you could DM people. I don't think it has that option yet. No.
Well, you said no gifts, and that's kind of like a big deal.
Yeah, you can't. There's no gifts yet with Wigan.
Can you post your own gifts?
You could probably post them if you have them. I don't know. I never tried doing it on there. I feel like I haven't seen any though. I've seen images, like photos and stuff.
Yeah.
I think I've even seen any I don't think I've seen videos either. It's like weird. It's just like it almost feels like a private chat on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, like I'm trying to get as many people follow me that follow me on Twitter. Most people like who I know are on there start following me, so that's cool. But like it, it's not that big. Like I don't really have like many interactions really.
Yeah.
I want it to work. I believe that it can. I believe that if they speed it up a bit, I understand why they're not. I think it's a good move what they're doing. Get the excitement going, get people to like more like once I mentioned that I got that I was on there, I got people hitting me up. Could I have an invite code? I have no invite codes yet. I think you have to be on there for a little while. Like I don't have any.
Makes sense.
I think I've been on there like I don't think I've even been on there a week yet. They'll be tomorrow.
I know. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with it. I do know though that like they are kind of rolling it out slowly, which I guess makes sense.
It's not a bad idea because you don't want the service to crash. That's what happened at Hive. I thought it had potential to be really good, and it just the word got out, and all these people started signing up for it, and the whole thing just crashed. It never recovered, and it killed the momentum. And I think what's good about this is you get all the clearly they're the people that get in there first are people who technically were originally blue check marks. Elon Musk bullshit check marks. People were celebrities, reporters, like, there are a lot of, Washington Post is on there, like all the.
Well, I think that's the key is if you can get news writers and sports writers, and then I guess influencers, a certain number of them, but Twitter relies on that. The news...
As of right now, it cannot be a real rival to Twitter because one, not everyone's on it yet, and so you can't use it as a main source of like information or trading information like people were using Twitter. But the potential's there. I think it's good that they're rolling it out slowly because this will make sure that they're ready with the servers and they can start implementing new things on there.
I just hope they have like a window where there's going to be a moment, there's going to be multiple moments over the next couple months where like Elon Musk does something terrible and a lot of people are
he's already done something terrible.
I know, but I'm just saying like there's going to be another moment where he does something terrible or there's a terrible thing that happens on Twitter or like all of a sudden like he makes everyone auto follow cat turd or something, and that's when Blue Sky has to be ready.
Like when Apple put that U2 album on,
right? That's when Blue Sky needs to be ready. Like once they're ready to release to everyone, they should wait for a moment like that because it'll happen in like a day or two, and then I think that will drive adoption pretty quickly. And then I'm imagining they're doing outreach to government officials. Like, does the White House have an account or?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because
there are no verification check marks, so it's like, I don't like. I'm looking at right now. There's a White House Blue Sky. It's got 4 followers. Someone even says, "Oh, I'm about to be an actual menace with this handle." Like, so clearly that's not the official White House,
right?
And in fact, that is an image of Independence Day laser hitting it. I don't think that's an official White House.
Right?
No, it's not up yet. But like AOC, I'm pretty sure, like AOC's on there.
But like they need to. Look, Jack is wealthy and connected enough to have sit-down meetings with people in government to say, like, hey, we want to reserve handles for you guys. What do you want? You want a Department of Interior one? You want a Commerce Department one? He has the resources to start doing that. I'm imagining he's doing that. So
they're talking about like, what do they call like a tweet? So it was like skeet. That sounds awful.
God.
You don't want to be skeeting. No,
you'll go blind.
Yeah, exactly. Like Daredevil was a perfect example of skeeting. Exactly. Yeah. I use Blue Sky for a week, and my palms are hairy, and my vision's very poor now.
I'm a goddamn werewolf.
I'm a goddamn werewolf.
So I'm looking forward to Blue Sky. I'm not like dying for it.
You are.
No, I do know. Here's the one thing I think is that like
those invite codes.
Here's
maybe making some money.
Here's
the Giuliani route.
oh Jesus.
Not
Here's
the other stuff. The not the other part. The part where he's trying to sell off pardons.
I think that the paradox will be I want Twitter without the MAGA chuds, but the thing I like about Twitter is the MAGA chuds.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
You know what I mean?
Like, I don't think like Marjorie Taylor Greene's on here. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, like honestly, I want if Twitter, how it was like 2 years ago, was probably what I was looking for. Like, there's plenty of accounts that drove me nuts, but like straight up disinformation was like they were attempting to deal with it. And if important accounts called for violence, they were eliminated. That's what I want. Like you're never going to be able to get rid of like some someone spouting out shit you don't like, and that's part of the fun of online interactions. But like you don't need
someone spreading COVID misinformation,
someone spreading
vaccine misinformation, election misinformation,
right,
Russian invasion misinformation.
And I get that that's kind of a slippery slope, because like if you said like to me there's a huge difference between someone tweeting like, look, I'm really nervous about the COVID vaccination. I have a healthy distrust of government or whatever, versus, someone posting themselves shaking, saying like,
doing weird herky jerky motions and with their palms.
Those are two different things. I mean, like it shouldn't be like you get banned for expressing opinions.
I'm a little bitch. You can't handle a needle. I'm doing a herky jerky. I got COVID. I got vaccine damage.
Yeah.
Now I'm doing this. Now.
So I'll be interested to see how I'll see how Blue Sky handles that. Like you do want healthy debate on there. You do want people with diverse points of view and opinions and everything, but you can't have big accounts purposely spreading very incorrect information, and you can't have like a coordinated bot army propping up bad ideas. Like that's I mean, I'm not saying it should be illegal. I don't know what I'm saying other than it's not good for civilization. It does.
I mean, there was, Twitter years ago was supposedly absolutely really awful, like 2015, and they put in some like implementations. And that's when the right wing started to bitch. And they were making all these claims like the Twitter is the town hall, or the Twitter should be a utility. And you don't ever hear those right wingers say that anymore. Ever since Musk bought it, you don't ever hear them say Twitter is the open space, or Twitter is a utility. Like they don't say that anymore because they're happy that he owns it and he brought back all the Nazis.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know where this goes. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a fucking app. I go on there. It has, if it's not entertaining, I don't see any interactions, I'm not gonna go on it. Like it's fact. I don't post things on my face. I rarely ever post anything on my Facebook page because I had one thing taken down months ago and they throttled it to the point that no one sees anything I post on my Facebook page. So I stopped using it.
That sucks.
I'm not gonna waste my time.
Facebook has transformed into something really weird. I mean, it's Facebook is transformed into something really weird. I don't mind Facebook because I use it for real specific things, but it's certainly not what it used to be.
No, it's not. And I mean, like, and the same thing goes with like, I use Twitter because not all my tweets, but a lot of my tweets get some decent interaction. Or if I have a good, funny retort to somebody, it gets good reaction. And now the endorphins get raised, arms get hairy. And it makes me want to use it. It's addictive. But the only reason why I use Instagram only, even as it bothers me as much as it does, and it sucks, it still works sometimes, and I still get gigs from it. I use it straight up, only use Instagram because I want to make sure people see my stuff and I can get but like I don't enjoy it. I don't really enjoy it. I enjoy using Twitter too much. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
I
Don't
agree.
enjoy Blue Sky yet because I don't see that return on I hate that word, return on investment, but like,
but no, that's true.
yeah,
Yeah, you're
like,
right. I honestly, like, on a good day, I feel like I get out of Twitter as much as I put in. Like,
yeah.
I'm getting some interaction, I'm getting some reactions, I'm learning some things.
If I go on there and I post tweet a bunch of things and I get no reaction, I'm gonna stop using it for a while because it's
Yeah.
boring. But
Yeah.
like if I'm getting interactions and it's funny or there's a good response, then I'm gonna use it. That's just how it works.
It is. I mean, like, there's a reporter. He's not like a big name or anything, but there's a Florida politics reporter that I've interacted with a couple times over the last week or so about stories, and I'm like, this is like really valuable to me. Like, there's this guy who like follows Florida politics for a living. I'm getting some insights from him. He's kind of like validating some of my thoughts on it. It just felt good. I mean, I know that's kind of like silly or weird, but
Yeah.
but that's
I only go on Blue Sky. I only have like 38 followers on there. On Twitter, I have almost 3,600. It's
yeah,
like there's a difference. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's the early stage. I'm still good. I hope that it dominates. Just to spite Musk. Like, honestly, I could care less. Blue Sky is like, it's like moving into a new house that looks nothing like your house.
Yeah,
because right now
funny.
I don't have like a kitchen table in there or like any place to store my shit because it's like not finished. You know what I mean? Like, that's what Blue Sky is. It's like, if I end up just like, if Blue Sky becomes the dominant app, it will make a fucking difference. It's literally almost the same app. It just will be funny to see like, Musk fail because he's a piece of shit. And he I guess we can start talking about this.
Yeah.
And real question. Could Musk sue Blue Sky? The people who run it? Could he? I mean, especially Dorsey.
That is a good question.
Could he be like, you fucking sold me this piece of shit and then you went and made a fucking clone of it? Like,
I don't know. I mean, I don't think so. I think a lot of my guess is that Jack guy is smart and hired lawyers, and this isn't a big risk,
Well, yeah, I would imagine that they didn't just start making this and being like,
yeah,
you got to be like, oh, we didn't see this coming.
And there may have been even non-compete clauses, which are like kind of questionable in whether they're legal or not. Even non-compete clauses have like a time, an expiration. It would not
shock me that when they do the full rollout, it wouldn't shock me if Musk announces that he's going to sue them. It would
Could
not
be. I don't know. I do know.
Like, there's no point now because it's like still in the beta, and like you could download the app, but you can't use it.
Yeah.
Unless you're invite code.
I'll tell you, every time Musk is about to go to trial, he doesn't, because he doesn't want to go through discovery. So he may or may not sue. I don't know.
I think you're right, because then it could reveal like, where did he get the money from?
Yeah.
To buy Twitter.
Right. I mean, like, that he doesn't open himself up to that often. I heard a guy on the radio tonight. I was doing some errands, and I want to say it was Ben Collins, but it could have been someone else. I don't know that guy by voice, but he was saying that Elon Musk is following, like, almost by script, the average red pilling experience. A person who becomes radicalized by right-wing media, particularly on places like 4chan or the internet. And the woman who was interviewing him said, well, couldn't he have just been a shitty person before? And now he's like exposing how shitty he always was. And the expert said, well, I'm sure he was shitty before, but like, this is a specific path and it's a specific progression.
Elevated. I mean, he would just be a typical douchebag billionaire, but I mean, he's always been like outright anti-union, anti-labor. I mean, the guy has a history of being shitty. It's just that, like, I think there was a veil put on him in the late, like early 2000s, like around 2007, 2008, around that time period of like, hey, here's this guy who, everybody was like, that documentary, the electric car, and it's like,
Right.
and they felt spurned by the Bush administration and, influencing car companies to trash all those. And then here's Tesla, and they're like on the way to the future. And like, oh, here's this guy, he's an innovator and he does all this stuff. But like I said, it's like, obviously there's people who claim, oh, we knew he came from slave buying money. I guarantee you, majority of people thought like, okay, here's this guy, he might be pretty cool. He's an Iron Man too.
I loved Elon Musk back in the day.
His villain origin.
Yeah.
Shows up in Iron Man too. It's like you were being introduced to the real villain of the movie. He's like, it's that I think the thing that was the end of it, and like the real exposure to this guy's really just a piece of shit, is the Thai cave. The Thai
Oh
cave.
yeah, that was well, to me that was like he's petty and petulant and just shitty.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, like there's something about like that doesn't seem right. And then his reaction to COVID. And once he did that, it was all downhill. Like once COVID hit, he was already kind of shitty to begin with. There was like dropping hints that he was kind of shitty.
Yeah.
We're just like overrated, I think. Like people are putting too much stock into this guy. Telling us he's going to Mars and all this bullshit. And then the fact that he never like came out with like a standard car that like everyday people could drive.
He said for years he was going to have like a $25,000 car, which never panned out.
And then like the fact that he like would make sure that like car charging stations would only work on his cars.
Yeah.
Going out of his way to destroy public transportation. He was pretty responsible for destroying the Vegas, what was it? The San Francisco to LA shuttle or what?
Oh yeah.
He killed that. He's the one who helped kill.
He's also progressed. Like he started out doing shitty capitalist things, but then he started going and like, then it was like, oh, it's a Pepe
COVID
meme.
Was the catalyst of making it when he just went full on chud.
Yeah, but it was a progression from like that, and then a Pepe meme, and then now he's like literally straight up saying like, well, that guy with swastika, that was a psyop,
So basically, besides the fact that since he bought Twitter, he let all the Nazis back on, and they said the rate of anti-Semitism has gone up immensely. I see more. I've seen more anti-Semitic shit on there than I ever seen ever. And so recently, a story got out, and I guess like 2 days ago, whatever, it was announced that Soros is dropping Tesla. Like he sold all his stuff, and this guy's a known investor. Probably not a good sign for Tesla, as like here's this guy who's investing in companies, and it's like he supposedly sold it off after a kind of a rebound for Tesla or whatever, which is like a way of saying like, yeah, I'm gonna try to get as much as I can. I'm getting the fuck out of here. So then all of a sudden, Elon's getting interviewed, and he's going on this rant about he's been pushing Soros bullshit for a while now. And Soros has been a name that just gets associated to anti-Semitism. It's used like there's all these like crazy people who claim that Soros is like the guy who started the concentration camps when he's Jewish, and he was like 12 when that happened. So he goes on this bizarre rant about how Soros is evil, and he's kind of like Magneto. Because Magneto is a villain from the X-Men comics. He's one of those characters that kind of goes good sometimes. But
he's a sympathetic bad guy.
Well, not in the beginning. Let me tell you, that whole thing it's a 40-year-old story, but Magneto was just a bad guy, and it wasn't until like the early '80s that they started introducing the whole like Magneto's came, with the concentration camps, and like his family was killed, and like made him more sympathetic and made him actually more with human, more humanity to the character, a little more gray instead of just a straight up black and white villain. But not to get him, but he went blind, Magneto.
Right.
Just like Daredevil.
Yes. Yeah.
But he got better. So he said that, and that was weird because like Magneto is a Jewish. I guess I always wondered that. I'm like, I don't know if Magneto's Jewish. I always thought I always thought maybe he was like a gypsy or something. His family. I don't remember them ever straight. Oh, his real name is
God.
Hyman Magnetostein.
Right. Okay. Well, that tracks. And, I would say
Magneto Goldberg.
Goldberg.
Yeah. So that's his real name, and I think Elon, at least if you're gonna say Magneto's name,
you gotta say the full name.
You gotta say the full name. This is bullshit. No. I think his name is like. This is so stupid. His name's like Eric Lensher or something. Or
jeez,
I don't.
It is weird though with Elon Musk how it went from normal shitty behavior to this is like a little advanced shitty behavior. So COVID denialism or whatever.
Then he said he was gonna, and he always made these false claims that he was gonna. He would always try to, anytime there was some kind of tragedy, he would try to jump on it and claim like, "Oh, Tesla's gonna help," and all that would do is help Tesla stop. And the joke was he never followed through on anything. He
did that with the Ukraine war. He's going to deploy the Star,
and then he pulled it.
Yeah, so.
He said that COVID in the beginning, he was sending ventilators, and he actually sent like fucking the opposite, these like machines, and he charged for them. He didn't send them for free.
Nah,
it wasn't even the right equipment.
Yeah, he's like, I meant venti lattes later is what I meant. I was going to send a tray of coffee. He's just, I guess my point is that like. COVID denialism, it's still like, look, it's wrong, it's completely wrong, but like it's still within the realm of like.
What made it worse though, and again, anti-labor, anti-union, was this isn't a normal guy on the street saying like, I don't know if I believe in this COVID thing, because he ran factories.
Yeah,
he was trying to skirt the laws in California. He moved his factory to Texas to basically be regulated less and pay less taxes. He literally was giving like the Californians like, you cannot have your factories open, and he tried bullshit saying I'm going to work in the factory too because he's so hands-on. He's like, he's the one who designs the cars himself.
Yeah, but even though those are like awful things, they're still logical. Like if I saw someone who wanted to skirt COVID laws to make money, I'd be like, you're a shitty person, but I get why.
Yeah, there's like a means to like there's an end to that. Like they're just a shitty.
Right. Or if you're a COVID denialist, I might say, okay, I can see where someone would say that, but you're stupid for saying it. But when you say, oh no, this mass shooter covered in swastikas is really a psyop run by, that's when it's like, no, now you're crazy. Now you aren't rooted.
Yeah, because the other things at least were he's like trying to trick people into saying COVID isn't real because he's making money off of
it's logical. It's shitty, but logical.
It's evil logical.
Yeah.
But this is just like, dude, you like lost your fucking mind. Why are you? So he's being interviewed by some guy from CNBC who just did a terrible job. And he's just like, well, don't you think it's bad? Like people are going to stop buying your stuff. Like none of it's just like, hey, don't you think it's bad to just like, not spread,
to put people's lives at risk? Well,
it's all about just like money. It's not like, none of it's about like hey, isn't it, morally wrong to be doing this right now? Or or I mean, I get it too. It's like you got to talk their language, and he's just a money-making ghoul that you'd be like, hey, dude, you're like hurting your company. Like
But
people are going to sell their
that's
cars, not buy your cars. Like, I mean,
that's the disease progression of red pilling, though. It's like one day you're just having shitty takes, and the next day you think Jewish space lasers are putting robots in your blood. You know, I mean, like there's like,
I wish.
there's a leap from like normal shitty behavior to advanced shitty behavior to unhinged from reality
Right.
behavior.
This doesn't make any sense. Like
why would they do
why
that?
would you push this? And it's like, again, what will this do? Yeah, could this hurt your company Tesla? I mean, some people might not hear it, but word will get out, and some people will be like, ew. Like, or people who pay for Twitter Blue, or you're just going to give more reasons for some people to be like, I'm not paying for this shit anymore. There's going to be, it's dumb. It's just dumb. And then, then the whole Soros thing is just even more. That's like, so it started with saying that this guy was a psyop and claiming that the guy was not a Nazi when the guy was literally covered with Nazi tattoos.
Yeah.
And was a Nazi. And it's maddening. This guy, it's almost like I don't get it. Like, and like I said, I don't understand how there hasn't been like some kind of uprising at Tesla where they're like, we're booting you as
well,
we don't want you to be the we don't want, like, there's no board, like there's no, like, it's not a private company.
Well, that's the other thing, is that, like, I don't look, Rupert Murdoch is an awful shitty person, and so are the Koch brothers, and so are, but I never get the feeling that they sit around at home with tinfoil hats on. They probably laugh
Rupert Murdoch doesn't go out and talk about Jewish space lasers.
No,
he pays people to say that on Fox,
but in private he doesn't believe that. Yeah, I don't think.
He doesn't give a shit. He's an evil man. But like you said, he knows better than to,
It's just rare to see a wealthy business leader go crazy.
It's like
saying
is it Alex Jones or is it Elon Musk?
Saying that was a psyop. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. That isn't a plausible thing.
Then Alex Jones, and then you can make the argument and say, well, was Alex Jones crazy? And it's like, well, it doesn't matter, because
that's the Mother Night thing.
Jones does for a living is say crazy shit, and that's how he makes his money. Just like when you're talking about Elon wanting the factories open and lying about COVID, they both serve their purposes, but Elon doesn't make his money from a
conspiracy
podcast
theories.
He doesn't have a conspiracy show. He has to make sure that stock, or people who buy stock in Tesla, are happy with the company. It's a publicly traded company. This isn't a private company,
right?
And I don't understand how, like, there is not talks of, like, people like, we want Elon to, like, not be the voice of Tesla. You know what I mean? Like, dude, you gone full Henry Ford here, buddy.
Well, at this point, I mean, like I said, like
we've seen
this progression where he was just doing shitty things. It was like, okay, this is it was still in the realm of, like,
but it's like, even like when the whole Kanye was having his, like, mental outbursts and saying all the insane anti-Semitic shit. And then around that time, Elon posted like a Dragon Ball Z fusion thing with him and Kanye, and it was like, dude, this is when you want to fuse with them? Like, what? Like, come on, man.
Well,
did you watch that interview? And, like, so the right wing were, like, praising him. There's like this weird pause. And then he starts talking about Princess Bride. I was watching Richard for it, and then Sam was like watching it, and he brings up Princess Bride, and the guy's like, "Oh, it's a great movie." And Simpson's like, "Yeah, it's a children's movie." It's a children's movie.
Yeah, that is true.
But, like, he's like making a quote from the Princess Bride, and he claims he doesn't care. I'm sure he cares. especially when he's like, I'm sure the stockholders care.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, I've seen like people removed for less things than anything this guy's ever done.
Yeah, but Tesla's like inseparable from Elon Musk, and also they might be betting on things like his space program and shit. You know what I mean? Like
that's like starting to fall.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we might see a stockholder.
I heard the joke about Tesla, SpaceX. It's not about fucking. It's never been about space travel. It's fucking missiles.
Yeah, or it could be that, or it could be like exploitation of mining on another planet or something, like we saw in For All Mankind. I mean, like, there's a lot of possibilities, but like the people who buy stock in Tesla, for good or for ill, are buying stock in Elon Musk. But
if you have people pulling out on it and he's saying all kinds of crazy shit and pushing conspiracy theories and talking about fucking Magneto.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
I'm sorry, Magneto Steam. My apologies.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe we will see that. The stock's been real, like,
and then and the Twitter thing being like just a fucking disaster. He announced a CEO a couple of days ago that the CEO is going to take over. I love it. He's like, I'm going to focus on innovation design. I can see all his like piss asses who were like, he's innovative in design. Like, get the fuck out of here. You didn't get any shit. And then they said it's funny that he hired like a woman, and supposedly there's this like theory. I forgot what it's called. It's like the glass theory or whatever, about how like they'll put in somebody into a company and it's like, we're actually fucking you over by making you the CEO of this company. Yeah. Worse. It's like made to fail.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because they said they've done that. There's other companies that have done that. They'll put like a woman as a CEO, and it's usually at the company's like shittiest point.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. This woman supposedly is pretty shitty anyway. She's like a Trumper.
She follows libs of TikTok.
Does she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the accounts she's followed for a while.
Yeah.
So
I mean, this is a shitty person. So who cares? Blue Sky rollout could not come quicker, but I want them to do it right. If it doesn't get it, if it's like not fully available to the end of the year, I'm fine with that. I'm like,
oh yeah, you got to do it right. It's not a race, but
and I think make it like a slow burn, and then people, because it's like, remember everyone's using MySpace, and then one day everyone's using Facebook.
Yeah,
it felt like that, but that's not really the case.
That's not exactly what happened.
People were slowly, but it did feel like one day all of a sudden no one was using MySpace. Like, did I get like a chip put in my head? Like, I literally just stopped using MySpace. It was super weird.
Yeah.
I didn't even like Facebook in the beginning.
I didn't either, but the thing Facebook did well is that they built up a repository of photographs and memories that are real hard to let go.
Right, because MySpace, it originally started, you can only have 8 photos, and you can have 16 photos, and it like, and then everybody would design. Remember that? There was people living designing MySpace pages for people. And you would go on accounts that would literally crash your computer.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right. Facebook didn't have any of that. You couldn't.
I'd have to defragment my hard drive afterwards.
Yeah, are you serious?
No, but I remember doing that, like defragmenting. It was like so soothing. So
you're popping bubbles.
Yeah, basically, it's like a visual fidget spinner for adults. Defrag my hard drive.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, he went on he's this full on like Henry Ford shit, dude. I mean, like, he like posted to like, how could I be a Nazi? My best friend's Jewish or something. I'm like, you're really gonna play this game, dude? Like, I don't even know if, like, okay, even if you are anti-Semitic or not, you damn well know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, you clearly, like, you know what you're doing, and you're playing to a certain kind of people, and it's fucked up. It's super fucked up. The head of the still probably the biggest information app.
Oh yeah, easily
pushing shit that Marjorie Taylor Greene would even push.
Yeah.
Like, That's dangerous. It's fucking dangerous. You know, we look at it Twitter as like what we see in our own little bubbles here, but like it is a worldwide app.
Oh yeah,
and,
for sure.
Supposedly another thing that's fucked up is supposedly he bent or basically did something that
In Turkey,
Jack Dorsey's Twitter never did. What was it? Turkey?
Yeah.
What's the guy's name?
Erdogan.
Yeah, like he basically got Elon Musk to silence his political rivals.
Yeah.
And I guess they tried doing that with Twitter back before Elon, and they refused to do it, and it hurt. It actually, I guess, maybe financially hurt Twitter, but they're like, we're not going to do that. You can't.
Yeah, and Elon was.
And Elon's supposed to be the guy who's supposed to make it even more free, and look what he's doing.
Yeah. Well,
but you got to remember though, the people that were applauding Elon for free speech are the most anti-free speech advocates. Their version of free speech is exactly what Musk is doing right now, pushing anti-Semitic tropes, pushing anti-Semitic memes, or anti-trans, anti-LGBT, any of that stuff. That's what they mean by free speech. They just
for sure.
But when the actual people speak out, they're against it. They don't like free speech. They don't want free thought. It's the opposite.
Yeah.
It's gotta go. I just can't imagine this guy, like, he looked so weird too. Like he was like on something during that interview.
Well, he just real full of himself, you know.
It's just crazy. There was like this one tweet, some right-wing hack was like, oh, that part was so amazing. And I'm like, oh, well, okay. Like, really? You're gonna believe that was amazing? That was weird at best. It was pathetic, and the guy who interviewed him should be fired. He should not be allowed to claim he's a
interviewer. Yeah,
like that was like if anything, that was like promotion. Like the guy can go
infomercial.
Go make an infomercial for fucking Elon. I don't know, selling Nazi memes. And hey, there's more with this purchase. Not just do you get the Jewish space lasers and the psyops.
Peppy NFT.
You also get some George Soros memes.
Awful.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, there is more.
Yeah, probably. Speaking of meltdowns.
Yeah, Ron DeSantis, huh?
So there's a video that went out. Did you see that one I posted of it with?
That's a good one.
Loop.
Yeah.
Some weird laugh. Like they're trying to get him out there and make him look human, and he's just not.
It's not working.
It's funny. Like on the show Succession, there was a character they introduced like last season. He was like this extreme right-wing candidate that it was running for president, and in the last episode, he ends up winning. And the thing is, he's like this guy. I mean, I've seen this actor in tons of things. He's really good. He was in like that show. He played the brother. It was the one with the woman selling pot.
Oh, yeah. What was that called? Weeds?
Yeah, it was called Weeds. Yeah.
Okay.
But he's playing this character, and he's like everything that like the right wing wished Ron DeSantis was.
Yeah.
Good looking, charismatic, funny, likable.
Uses forks.
Does not scoop out pudding with his 3 fingers.
Yeah.
Doesn't wear weird boots. Yeah. I don't know. I think this Ron DeSantis thing, I mean, again, if he ran for president, if he supposedly by the end of the month, he's going to fully announce it. I guess Florida is bending to his will and changing the law so that he can run.
They already did. They changed a couple big laws. One is that they made it illegal to look at his travel expenses.
That's insane. That's like criminal. That sounds like that's like giving him like the ability to just do shit that's so corrupt beyond even running for president,
And yeah, they did that. And then the second was that they made it, but they tweaked the law so that this only applies to Ron DeSantis, not like they didn't. That's not like literally what it says.
State,
well,
man.
when governments get super majorities, they go wonky. And I'll even say that about like if Democrats had a super majority, can do anything they wanted, and then they just like went to town on it, it may turn out to be great, but like that's when you run the risk of like, okay, maybe there's some possibility here for some overreach or whatever, or maybe we'll go too quickly.
But would they be doing shit like that?
No, of course not. But that's like, but yeah, so they've changed a bunch of things for Ron DeSantis, and Ron DeSantis has been like in Egypt or in Israel, and he's been in England.
Oh, real quick, speaking of Israel came out and spoke against Israel, the country, put out a statement about Elon and how dangerous all the shit Elon must be spreading.
Good.
Yeah.
It is weird because like there's I've never understood that. There's an overlap. There's like a lot of pro-Israel MAGA chuds who are also anti-Semitic. I know that
there's a weirdness to it. There are people who there's anti-Semites who hate Israel and hate Jews and hate everything. And then there's weird religious Christians that love Israel, not for the reasons because they love Jewish people,
right?
Because there's a biblical purpose.
It's easy to understand, I guess, if you don't think about it too much.
They said that this was a big deal because like Netanyahu's administration has been known for being even quite anti-Semitic in some ways, and like being in part of weird right-wing circles. So they said like the fact that they came out and spoke against Elon Musk is kind of a big deal because it's like yeah.
Well, DeSantis had that meltdown over the last few days where he was asking someone about a Porsche, and they talked about how much it was, and he laughed, and I swear this laugh, it looked like remember how like the cone heads would seamlessly fit into society, but then they would do something like that and people would know that they're aliens, and that's what it looked like. It looked like a scene out of The Thing or something.
6 rows of teeth too.
Well, it was like it was, and I can't like exactly explain it. It was definitely like super feminine. Like it was kind of a girlish, like he kind of clasped his hands together like Mr. Burns or something.
You're trying to make someone who has no ability to do this to be something.
Yeah.
The fact that he weaseled his way into Florida, I remember watching that debate with Gillum. And I was like, how is this guy? Gillum's gonna wipe the floor with him. This guy
he should have.
He should have. And DeSantis, like, that fucking election was stolen. Fuck, Trump admitted. He said we helped him.
Yeah.
He basically said, I helped him steal the election in Florida.
Well, I believe that. But even since then, like DeSantis has done nothing to improve the state. He's done a lot for the chuds on Twitter. Like I 100% see how DeSantis is very appealing to the average right winger on Twitter, but like
because he's like, I'm gonna make Florida's where woke goes to die, and it's like, haha, it's all the buzzword, right wing buzzwords, and I'm gonna attack CRT, I'm gonna attack trans kids who want to participate in sports. I'm gonna get rid of abortion. I'm gonna do this. There's a new thing he did recently. I guess he signed some crazy anti-immigration law or whatever.
Yeah. Well, he put it. I think it made it so that like that people who employ undocumented workers are going to be on the hook, that's like a weird one because like honestly, that's how it should be. Like if you're going to have anti-immigration laws, it shouldn't be immigrants that are like prosecuted per se. It should be
like
people,
the factories that shuttle them in and use ICE to get rid of them when they want new workers. But the thing is that like the cold reality is that there's construction jobs that are not getting done.
Right.
There's truckers who refuse to go into Florida. There's empty shelves. It's so funny. Right-wing governors, I'll see like right-wing governors, right-wing politicians trash like blue states or say like New York crime is out of control.
Yeah.
And they'll say this while like their state is literally on fire and it's or they're drowning.
Yeah.
Like,
They've
what I
done
mean?
they've done that with crime too. Like person for person, New York's safer than average.
Yeah.
New York City, you're safer walking in Manhattan than you are like walking through, Toledo, Ohio. You just are. I mean, like statistically, you're less likely to be the victim of a crime. Now, that doesn't mean everything in New York is safe and perfect. I mean, it's got problems, of course, but like person by person, you're gonna run into trouble more so in like Meth Alley, than you are in New York City. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I do know that that DeSantis has done very little for Florida, in my estimation. He's really done, his whole brand is on this kind of hatred and division. And you wonder if they're at an inflection point now, like, because a couple things have happened. Disney sued him, and Disney is big and has good lawyers and deep pockets. You can't outlast Disney in court. Disney can afford to fight forever.
Yeah,
and
they could probably sue him even after he's done being in fucking politics.
Yeah, I mean, Disney has more wherewithal than Florida, has more resources, has more, and now Penguin Random House, one of the biggest publishers on the planet, is suing a school board, a Escambia County school board, a Writers Guild, and the publisher, and some teachers and parents, parents are suing Escambia County. And I think that's 100% the way to go. Like, why don't go after the state? Go after a school board. They will annihilate this county in court if they think they have a case.
Why are they suing exactly?
The school board. This is such a screwy story. Okay, so the governor said you can't have these certain books in class, and you need to have a procedure. And so then the school board came up with a policy based on advice from their attorney. And they said you get a media specialist to review these and make determinations, and then you follow the advice of the media specialist. That's what will adhere to the state law. But the school board members told the superintendent, we want you to just take the books. And the school board superintendent, you can find this on TikTok, there's film of it this is from last night or 2 nights ago now, I guess. The school board superintendent's like, I'm not going to do that. The process is the media specialist makes a recommendation. You want me to violate your own procedure just because it's like convenient for you. Then the school board fired the superintendent right there and then. And then 12 hours later, there's this lawsuit.
Imagine your job is like on the, like, depends on a bunch of like psychotic assholes who are only on the school board because they were voted for all every insane right-wing thing you could think of.
It's not even that anymore. It's like, if there's an insane right-wing person, like if there's an insane right-wing mom or dad in your county, you could lose your job because of that one rando. They don't even have to have kids that go to the school.
Yeah,
they can just be like a random
porno magazines in the library.
Fucking Edna Krabappel shows up at a school board meeting and loses her job, because some lady's throwing cats at her.
Like cat lady.
But
whatever she said.
So a lot of people are saying that this is what's going on in Florida, is that all these politicians have lost any nerve, and they're all specifically catering to the needs of the worst people in Florida, like the most insane and worst people in Florida.
This is all product of right-wing media. Here's a real quick funny one. I was going to bring this up since we're talking about Florida and like that. There's a teacher or whatever that's might get fired because she played a Disney movie. I think the movie's called Strange Worlds.
Yep. And
there were complaints about it because it features, it's a generational story. It's about a grandfather, or starts off with the father and son, and then something happens, and it's the son, and he has a son. So it's a generational story.
Yes.
and the grandson is gay.
Yeah.
And
They showed the
mentioned,
scene
like 2 times in the movie he likes this one boy, and but the woman, the teacher, played this movie because one, she probably figured it'd be easy, because it was about, it's an earth science class, and it features like about biology. It was, yeah, I think it was earth science. It had something to do with pertaining to science. It has something to do, strange. Like the movie's like okay, it's not that good.
Well, we had it's
but
the end of the school year. Teachers are showing movies.
Regardless,
that's what they're doing.
She picked the movie because it's current, and it's a CGI cartoon, probably go over easy, and it had to do with like biology and earth science or whatever, because it deals with like terraforming or bacteria. I don't know.
Yeah.
Part of the plot of the movie. It just happens to be one of the characters gay, and it gets mentioned like maybe 2 times at most in it. And it's fucking stupid. So this teacher's gonna get fired because it's like out of control. This is fucking.
Well, it's comically bad now, because there's probably plenty of chuds who went to that movie with their kids. And maybe
let me tell you, the right wing was full on assault when that movie came out.
Well,
they were like going crazy about that movie. Mixed race couple has a gay kid. There was so much, and I'm like, so you guys are just saying you hate this because it's a white guy married to a black person and they have a kid and the kid's gay. Like you literally hate it because of that. Like
you wonder if it's an inflection point, because big names. There's only like 5 publishing firms left in the world, and Penguin Random House is one of them. They're a big one, and they're not suing Ron DeSantis. They're suing the school board.
Good.
The school board does not
probably a better idea.
It's a much better idea. They're going to annihilate the school board, and if they do that, then all they have to do is like send a letter to other school boards and say, hey,
what they're suing again exactly for what?
The grounds of it's a federal lawsuit that says our First Amendment rights have been violated,
which is basically what like Disney was doing, right? With
Disney was it was a First Amendment claim, but they sued DeSantis for retaliation, saying, because DeSantis, they're suing DeSantis because of that. This is like a slightly different claim. I think that they're going to win big. I mean, like, you may get a chud judge that like lets it go, but eventually you're going to get to the point. This has been litigated before. You can't ban books in high school libraries. I mean, like, there may be some narrow grounds, like it may be. Well, yeah, like you can't, like, and normal people know this. You can't show The Evil Dead to kindergartners. That's a bad idea.
It's a great movie about Earth. I'm just kidding.
But most people would say, like, okay, yeah, you can't do that.
See when the vines grew and went up that woman's cooch and grabbed her. Biology, nature.
Most people would argue too, or easily understand that, like, okay, even though 17 and 18-year-olds are old enough to handle this kind of stuff, you can't show the human centipede in a 12th grade class.
Again,
you can't.
Perfect biology.
So
human anatomy.
We all agree that you can ban or censor some things. I mean, all of us agree on that to some degree. A lot of people would agree that you can ban the Bible. You can't assign kids to read the Bible. That's a ban. I mean, like, people don't have a problem with bans. It's just, what can you ban? And now when you shift to that argument, you can't say, well, we ban this because gay people kissed.
We have to have a media reviewer go through all the books. Like, what the fuck, man? This is like 1984 shit. Yeah. It really is. Like, talk about like out of control theocracy. It's just ridiculous.
This shit always loses, though. It always loses. These positions are always ultimately unpopular, and they always lose. Now,
but it's funny that it usually takes like a big business that has the ability to shoot a shit out.
That's depressing.
And again, they're not suing because of like, because they don't like it, but it's where like it's the bottom line. You know, it's like this thing you said about like Musk, like it don't make sense when Musk wanted to do this because it affects his factories, you know,
Yeah.
like he doesn't want to be, so he's gonna lie about COVID, you know.
Yeah. It's shitty, but it's logical. Like, okay, I get that.
But it's good because it's like, you know, it's like the same thing with Disney. Like we're rooting for Disney to win here with DeSantis because the reason why DeSantis is doing what he's doing was because he was attacking gay people.
Yeah.
Put in a shitty bill, and Disney was like, "Yeah, we kind of don't want to do that."
Yeah. Well,
Like,
it's like
Disney should be broke up and not be. It's a shitty
but like,
company.
look at, I got a text today. I know Sperry isn't a big name, but like,
yeah, I love Disney, and if they want to hire me to do any work,
Sperry boat shoes. I wear Sperry boat shoes. I got a text today. I get coupons from them, and they have a Pride collection coming out.
oh, you must have been so angry.
Miller and Bud Light. These are normal things that big business knows are that the majority of people are fine with this. The majority of people are very accepting of this. The majority of people don't have any problem with trans persons. Even the people that don't understand trans persons generally don't have a problem with them. It's a small sliver, outraged minority that
all those idiots that are posting videos of them freaking out at Target because they have the Pride section.
it's amazing. You know, I mean, it's remarkable that
if I was at the store and I saw that, I would just say to them, "You guys are losers, dude." Like,
yeah.
go. This is great. This is one guy. He's this asshole from like Arizona. He has this dumbass mustache. You've probably seen videos of him harassing people. And he just goes to like stores and attack. Like he went to like or some, I don't know. He went to like all these different places. And he's just a homophobe. The guy's a freak, dude. He's gonna get like popped in the mouth or shot one day. But he goes up to this one guy at Target and he's like, "What do you think about this?" And he's like, "I don't care." So you think we should leave kids out of it? He's like, "Well, yeah, I guess we should leave kids out of everything." What do you like? I don't care.
Right. What? Yeah.
He's like trying so hard. Like, isn't it sick? These people are pedophiles. He's like, there's no proof of that.
Yeah.
The guy's like,
I've seen that. That's Anyway, so it is weird that it's so weird that Ron DeSantis is doubling down on honestly what are like really fringe positions. Now, look. Maybe,
but they're not fringe to Fox News.
They're not, and like
they're fringe, but like if all you do is consume Fox News, of course DeSantis is like the king, but that shit is starting to like unravel. Fox News is unraveling with the whole Dominion thing.
Yeah,
everything that's going on. I mean, like,
well, we did see evidence of that last night. I guess this is kind of the end of the Florida stuff, but there's a big upset in a big mayoral election last night where a Democrat beat a Republican in Jacksonville, Florida.
And this person was endorsed by Ron DeSantis.
DeSantis campaigned for him and endorsed him.
DeSantis
and
endorsed some other, just real quick, we're talking about that. He endorsed someone else, like in Kentucky or whatever, and that person lost to the Trump-backed person. I did see the video that the guy actually conceded, and I was shocked. I'm like, holy shit, Republicans conceding and saying that he'll work.
Yeah.
I was like, what year is this video from? Like 2007? Like, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. Like, I remember that video of that guy who lost like the Supreme Court seat, and he just like was like a baby about it.
Yeah. I remember.
Or like kept the existence of Carrie Lake. You know.
Well, that's, I guess I was going to use her as an example. I think like if you are a successful businessman in like, you know, bumblefuck Kentucky, and you have to wake up the next morning and run your car dealership or whatever you do for a living. This is
the guy in Florida who conceded to the Democrats.
Oh, okay. Well, there are people in some places that like still want to like engage, you know, with the community at large, and they're going to concede gracefully. I think
Carrie Lake is not a serious person. She's a performer. She's
a clown show.
She's a performer. Like, that's the difference. Like, what was she? Like, she
was a newscaster.
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Well, that's why. She doesn't have to. She doesn't have to engage with her new job is to be a grifter. You know, I mean, like other people might go. Like I'm sure there's plenty of Republican or Democrats that have normal jobs and do normal things, and when the race is over, they're like, you know what? I still want to sell used cars to Democrats and Republicans. You know,
Yeah. Carrie Lake's job is to sell bullshit to right-wing morons that
right.
will buy her book or
Her only clients are insane. So
yeah.
It makes sense to me that someone would concede gracefully.
Yeah, but it just seems like rare, especially after I saw that Wisconsin one where that guy was like such a little
yeah
about it. Like,
that's pathetic.
I just don't expect these people to like concede anymore.
Well, we saw a Democrat win in Jacksonville, and then in your neck of the woods, we saw a progressive independent win in Colorado Springs, which is just honestly, that's like a
That was for mayor.
Yeah, I saw this on Twitter, and a lot of people agreed with it. And it makes sense. It would be like a Republican winning Austin, about the same size city, same type of.
Austin's bigger, but
well, they did it population wise. It was about 400,000. These maybe not.
Maybe it's Colorado Springs, I guess, is maybe a little more rural looking than Austin. I just think
they said they both had like 400,000 people living in city limits.
Oh, okay.
And so it would be like a Republican winning Austin is what happened only in Colorado Springs, where a progressive independent won.
Maybe sometimes that's what it takes. Don't run as a Democrat in a very red area. Run as a progressive independent, and you could probably get people who hate Democrats to vote for you because they can be like, well, I vote for that Democrat, and then they end up voting for somebody.
Even stranger.
Well, Caesar's even more progressive.
This guy was born in Nigeria. He's an immigrant. Came to this country. It's crazy. And both of these, Colorado Springs is a huge Air Force town.
Yeah.
And Jacksonville, I think, is Navy or also Air Force. There's a lot of military presence there. So these are traditionally Republican strongholds that went Democratic. And we've seen this in election after election. And the Republicans keep pushing through these unpopular bills. South Carolina just did a 6-week abortion ban. North Carolina just overrode the governor's veto and instituted like a 12-week abortion ban. Florida has a 6-week abortion ban. I think Texas has a 12. They're pushing through all these terribly unpopular pieces of law, and the minute people get a chance to vote on it, they vote them out. You know, so
there was a big election too in Pennsylvania. State House one or whatever, that could have definitely determined like how much power the governor would have.
Yeah.
And thankfully that remained. I don't think the state house, like what the deal is. It's like, I guess the majority is still Republican, but it would have turned into a super majority if this woman lost.
Yeah.
And it would have weakened the powers of the governor.
They could have overridden vetoes pretty easily.
Which means they could have pushed through some anti-abortion shit.
Yeah. Some people said that the Jacksonville mayor is relatively powerless, but that's just not true. They have a strong mayor that
what does that mean? Like, what do they like? It's a mayor. Like, what?
Well, in some places, the mayor is just one member of the city council. They just call it them. Like in where I live and where you used to live, the mayor is more ceremonial than anything. You know, it's the council that really moves and does things. But other places have a strong mayor where the mayor basically acts as the governor of that city. You know, so
kind of like the New York City mayor.
Yeah, basically like so. Yeah. So anyway,
it's an actual real position this woman won.
And policy making, and there's going to be
Colorado Springs.
Same thing.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to.
Well, like I said, it's we'll talk about this in a little bit. I don't want to talk about it right now, but I just see this as more of a sign of like, I just think Boebert will be toast in 2024. Unless something weird happens, because I just think like clearly the state's shifting more blue, or maybe it's also people just tired of like, all the Republicans are like all they're doing is saying like, we're going to take CRT out, we're going to do this, or we're going to like spend weeks angry at like Bud Light or some dumb shit. People need to like be like, you're literally doing nothing.
Yeah. Well, that's
like,
the thing is that like what
yeah, I'm conservative, blah 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 blah, but like this is all bullshit.
Let's say they pass a bunch of trans laws, and they are, then like what do they do next time? They got to find some other marginalized group to go after.
Right, because they're not going to do anything to benefit you. They're just going to hope that you are fulfilled with hatred, and they're never going to not go after someone else. They're always going to have something to go after.
So I don't know. It is nice to see these tides turning. I hope they do things like, tank, just other races in different districts and stuff. Maybe it has so far, to be honest with you. So but
I saw like people said, "Oh, it was a big night though." Like I guess there were a lot of primaries or whatever, and it said that like a lot of the MAGA chud ones won. But I'm like, I mean, depending on the area, unless it's like a heavily red area, but like that could be a good thing because they'll fucking lose.
Well, but they're already and people are starting to be aware of the ramifications. The next thing on our list was to talk about this abortion pill hearing. There is a hearing now where it's possible that because some rando in Texas wants the abortion pill outlawed everywhere, that it could be severely limited. It could be limited to places in which abortion is legal.
How do you even do this law? If you could mail something,
it would be illegal to mail. You couldn't mail it.
Yeah.
I mean, like you still you still could, but that's not.
Does this contain an abortion pill? You go to the post office. I gotta mail this. Oh yeah, what does this contain? Does not contain the abortion pill.
Shrooms.
Okay. You can't mail medicine. Somebody tried going there and saying like, oh, I want to mail this, and it was medicine. They're like, yeah, you can't mail that.
Yeah, there's some different rules regarding mail. I don't know. It will be. It just, I don't know. It's frustrating that for years the Republicans have been asking for it to be returned to the states. The Supreme Court said, well, we've done it. We've returned it to the states. And then immediately, like within 24 hours, someone's like, well, I want to make it illegal everywhere. And they're not going to stop. This is one thing where there just can't be any middle ground. It just has to be abortion is legal. You can make your own moral decisions about it. If you don't want to have one, you don't have to have one. If you think it's important that you and your partner.
That's the problem. That's like the joke is like these people are like, oh, they want you to have abortions. No, we don't. We want you to just be able to have the option.
Yeah. Well, and also that the right to privacy and private counsel with your doctor. Like there may be, look, I know it happens. There's probably women that are super against abortion that picket clinics, and then they go to their doctor, and the doctor's like, you have this ectopic pregnancy, and then they take an abortion pill and they convince themselves that it wasn't really an abortion because of X, Y, and Z. Then they're back at the picket lines the next day. I mean, there's plenty of people that get abortions for deeply personal and private reasons.
Yeah, private.
And that's
business.
That's the thing, and it's not a big leap, like I've said, for these things to start expanding. Like they're talking about, like, I don't know, Texas restricted gender affirming care for children. Florida did too.
This one's great. Did you see that Onion? Let me see if I can find it.
Oh yeah, the about the swimmer.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it real quick. It was pretty recent, but it could be like.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Oh, where is it? Come on. All right, hold on. It's loading. Yeah, I mean, it's getting out of control. It just is. Oh, Ron DeSantis holds press conference to slurp custard off the ground. See that one?
No.
It's so gross. Oh, this one's great. Trans teen hatches nefarious plot to undergo years of medical treatments and counseling to win at swimming.
Yeah, I mean that's.
Yeah, that was like the joke, though. I remember like the way Joe Rogan and stuff were talking about it. He made it sound like dudes would just wake up one day, claim they're women, go to the sports thing, and then the sports thing has to let them in, and then that dude just clobbers all the women because he's claiming to be. And it's like none of that is happening. None of that. This is so stupid.
No. But the abortion stuff is happening.
Well, yeah.
You know, I mean, they're doing some real terrible damage along the way. I don't know.
See what happens. I mean, you know, fucking Senate needs to get their shit together. They need to go after fucking Clarence Thomas. They need to kick him out. They need to get rid of Clarence Thomas. Should be gone by the end of the year. I mean, it's insane. That shit with him is so fucking corrupt. The fact that this guy's been around literally the majority of my life as this he was put in. It was 91. I think he went in.
Was it that late?
It was.
I guess you're right.
It was. Yeah. I was. Let's see. How old was I? Was I in 8th grade? Might have been 8th grade when that fucking happened. I mean, like a long time ago. This fucking clown. It was only they put in these young guys, young women, because they know, like, the next Democratic one, that next progressive one, they should put in like a 34-year-old.
Yeah, I'll tell you though that like you can't keep passing terrible laws, you know. And honestly, the way the Supreme Court said, I mean, look, the Supreme Court was wrong, but like in theory, you should be able to overcome it. If enough people vote, then you can put in state governments that'll make it legal. I mean, it's pretty basic and simple.
No, but I'm saying that like all the shit with like Colin Crow and all those corruption, he needs to be fucking gone. And then we need another one in there, and then like and again, it shouldn't even be up to the fucking Supreme Court. It's ridiculous.
Right. Yeah.
This is like maddening. I don't know. I mean, are the Dems playing a stupid game where they're like, we'll get people to come out and vote, make sure Biden gets a second term? Because it could backfire.
Could.
All of a sudden you got Trump or DeSantis or whatever other puke they come up with in the next year. See, that was the funny thing about Succession. It was like the scary element was this guy who gets in the end.
Yeah.
Comes in late, 6 months into the 6 months, meaning he comes in super late into the presidential cycle.
Oh, okay.
Election that it's like literally 6 months away, and this guy gets put in. Now, I don't know if Succession's giving the Republicans ideas. I mean, Josh Hawley, that fucking guy who, like, he's made a you see all the stuff he does. He puts out these weird campaign about being manly.
So strange, for him.
You fucking jacked off to a poster of a dude in
it's just
like is running on this whole like, I don't know if this guy is like trying to run for president at some point or if he's just working on a grift. But he has this whole thing about like being, I don't know if you saw these, like he wears like a tight t-shirt.
It's so bizarre.
To be manly. This is the guy who ran like a coward on January 6th.
Oh yeah.
Like you see him just. That was great during the January 6th hearings when they showed that, and people like literally were cracking
laughing.
Yeah, it's so fun because these people are clowns. This guy's talking about being manly and hardworking. He's just another Ivy League douchebag.
They all are. His
hands are probably softer than any material you have ever touched.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. I don't know. I am hopeful that we've seen the tide begin to turn. The Republicans have done poorly or underperformed in every election since Trump left office. They just have, for a variety of reasons. And hopefully it just continues.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess unfortunately, due to like some weird math and fucking voter, what they call it, gerrymandering, they were able to take out the House.
Yeah. Democrats should have held it. Honestly, they should have.
I think the biggest fuck up is New York.
New York was a huge one. They were cowardly and didn't redistrict it like they should have. Florida redistricted, all the Republican states redistricted to give themselves extra seats, and the Republicans extra seats, and New York didn't. And it was a disaster. They
supposedly wasn't that all like sabotaged by Como?
Supposedly? Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know if he intended it to be that way, but whatever happened, it happened.
You're
so
gonna
that
kick me out. I want to make sure you guys lose.
Well,
I'll be screaming Como in the dock.
Speaking of the New York angle, Giuliani's back in the news. Rudy Giuliani.
Rudy Giuliani, you mean?
Yeah. He
America's mayor.
There's some disturbing
what was it? The garden. What was it when he gave
the Four Seasons garden and
like, come on, like that'd be a joke. Like if I showed up and I was there and someone fucked up and was there, I'll be like, we're not doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not gonna do this. We're gonna postpone this. We're gonna say we're gonna have a person go out and say, yeah, there was a little bit of an error.
Yeah.
We're going to be in the next couple hours. We're going to be doing it here.
Yeah.
I would do it. I'd be like, yeah, there's been misinformation. There's been a miscommunication. Oh my God. But he didn't. He spoke in front of that fucking gardening center or whatever.
Yeah. With like tomatoes on steaks behind him and stuff.
God, it fucking smelled like manure.
Well, now
it's just Giuliani's pants.
The two big things that have been disclosed, and I guess this woman has like text messages that corroborate some of it, is that Giuliani was telling her that he and Trump are selling pardons. And
if you told me they were doing that, I'd say, yeah, I could see them doing that.
I 100% believe that.
Yeah. It does. There's no argument. No, he would never. No way.
I'm a little surprised that there wasn't already a paper trail. Like you couldn't have said like, hey, this person got a pardon and they also gave you 200,000. Like, can we? But anyway, and the second thing was that that Rudy Giuliani had been sexually harassing her, and I guess like in the court documents it said that he would have her
find it.
He would have her perform oral sex while Giuliani was on the phone with Trump.
Ew.
Which I'll tell you, for either of those things,
Giuliani blocked me on Twitter.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, I think I mentioned that before. Yeah, I just went on there. He says Rudy Giuliani blocked you.
I've been blocked by a bunch. I don't think I've been blocked by Giuliani.
I don't know why I got blocked by Giuliani. I don't think I've ever said anything to him.
I don't know. Giuliani.
He must have heard me call Adolf Giuliani.
I don't know.
Adolf Giuliani.
God. Well, anyway.
Hold on. I just found, as I'm looking for the Josh Holler thing I was talking about, it's called Pull the Arms to Men.
Oh my God.
The most unmanly man is telling people how to be men.
Yeah. That's not a good pairing. Yeah. Well, anyway, so
I can find the exact list. What is it?
Are you talking about Rudy Giuliani?
Sexual harassment? What is
it?
She would perform oral sex on him while he was on the phone with Trump.
Right.
Ew.
Yeah. Now imagine the lack of a gag reflex it would take to do either of those things.
What?
I said, imagine the lack of a gag reflex it would take to do either of those things. Perform oral sex on Rudy or listen to a conversation between Rudy and Trump.
Did you? Yeah. Wow. Did you see that? You ever see Borat 2?
Yeah.
You remember that scene in Borat 2 when Borat is in the room? And he starts laying down and he's literally pulling his fly down.
Right,
and then Borat runs in and goes, No, she is too young for you. She is 15. No, she's too old for you. She's 15. Sorry. It
makes a lot more sense now. Like if you hear that, if you see that, because like Giuliani had some bullshit excuse at the time, like he was relaxing, getting his pants pressed or something.
Yeah, I always, when I'm in the room with a girl that's 1/4 my age,
right.
Oh fuck, man.
Lord. Well, I don't know. This could be pretty damaging. I mean, this is like
this thing that should lock any normal person up for just 1/100th of what this guy's done.
Well, I mean, like, it's just an accusation, and plenty of like people accuse famous people of weird shit all the time. It's just that there's a lot of corroborating evidence that goes along with these accusations.
I think when it comes to Giuliani, I think this is 100% true.
Yeah, they seem to make sense.
I'm sorry, but why would anyone want to lie about like giving him head while he's on the phone with Trump? I feel like that's
gosh,
that's something that people don't make up.
Yeah,
their mind doesn't get that dark.
That's something you would normally reveal only under hypnosis or something, like
yeah. Like that what was that movie, Jacob's Ladder?
Oh yeah, that was terrifying. I'm surprised no one's tried to remake that.
I think they did.
Did they?
I don't know. It's possible. If they did, it probably ruined it. I think when they do a remake and the remake just sucks.
Yeah.
It's like missing everything the first one had.
Right.
Like, how do you screw that up? You got modern effects, you got modern ways of filming things, you have like just better acting today.
Yeah.
Like, how do you fuck that up?
But they do, time after time.
Constantly. Giuliani's former employees' complaint includes screenshots of text that demonstrate sexual harassment. Good morning, my love. Try to call. Your scotch is with me. I'll bring it for you on Thursday. Wherever we meet, let me quickly shower. Can I shower with you? This is the Giuliani is the one saying.
Yeah.
Need to shower, dress before Xfinity, and the IT guy comes over. Good idea, and put very modest clothes on, possibly a burlap.
Oh my god!
I'm shocked. I cannot believe that this guy is just a skeezy old creep.
Right?
You think you know a guy.
Right.
You think you know somebody, and then they
some guy who just sort of
Giuliani was the guy who put his emergency bunker in Tower 7, and the only reason why he did that is because that's where he would take his mistress that he would bang.
Oh yeah,
his soon to be third wife.
Yeah.
It's just that's the main reason why the bunker was there.
Yeah.
The emergency bunker.
I think of all the people, his fall from grace is kind of the most shocking because he had such goodwill after 9/11.
Oh my god, it was like obnoxious.
If he had run for president right there and then, he might have won it,
And the only reason why he was walking around looking like he was doing something was because there was no place for him to go. They didn't have an emergency bunker because it went down Tower 7.
Oh.
Oops. Oh. They said supposedly like all the fuel that's usually in the emergency bunker was ignited in Tower 7 because they had more fuel in there than buildings normally do. So it caught fire even more because Giuliani wanted his emergency bunker there. It was supposed to be in Brooklyn. That's normally, I guess there's a place in Brooklyn where the mayor there was an emergency. And
well, yeah, I don't know.
That's a fun conspiracy.
Yeah.
It's not even. I don't even think it. I mean, could it be classified as conspiracy?
Yeah, could be. I suppose. I don't know. He's just fallen so far low.
Well, I mean, I think what happened was, yeah, you're right. Like, if he ran for president like a month after 9/11, he would have been president.
Yeah.
But you had you had 7 more years as Bush as president. I mean, 9/11 happened so early, and he ran in 2004. Giuliani wasn't going to run against him.
Right.
He ran in 2008, and the steam was already kind of gone. And he would. I remember watching those primaries, and everyone would clap whenever he would talk.
Right.
I remember some guy was like, the terrorists are scared of Giuliani. I'm like, wait,
Right. Yeah.
how? How are the terrorists scared of Giuliani?
Yeah, they didn't seem scared last time.
Exactly. Like, what is he gonna do? Hey, don't do that. Like,
yeah.
and then actually,
Well, then that noun and verb and 9/11
that was
thing.
Joe Biden's
Yeah.
line. That was really good. But the person that kind of did him in the, I remember watching the primaries was fucking Ron Paul. I watched some of those primaries debates, the Republicans, and Ron Paul would just like go after Giuliani, and Giuliani just ended up being like a kind of just there was nothing there. It was just not.
Yeah, I remember he was like when the people were like, "Well, what did we ever see in him?" And it became clear that
again, and it's the same thing. It's like here's this guy who was the mayor of New York, but like socially somewhat progressive, like choice and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like you can't do that on a national scale. You just can't do that because then you have to all of a sudden now claim that you're anti-choice and all this stuff, and it's like could it be any more obvious?
Yeah, it didn't work. Well, we have another. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we'll see what comes out of it. I feel like the sun has set on this guy.
Yeah, I do too.
The last time I heard about him in the news was some idiot producer decided to put Giuliani in The Masked Singer.
Oh yeah.
This is post 2020 election,
right?
Giuliani. Like, what were you thinking?
Well, I mean, there's a few shows that have a real right-wing bent to them, like
yeah,
Dancing
but even
with the
that,
Stars
that's
and
like, yeah, like if this was like 15 years ago, then yeah, 10,
sure.
even 10 years ago. But post that election and post,
that's tough.
Post January 6th, like, yeah, that was a dumb move on there. I mean, like you said, most of those competitions,
they're very right wing.
They are. That's why usually when people are making a joke saying like, "Oh, is Tucker gonna end up on Dancing with the Stars when he left Fox?" And you're like, he was already on it. He was on it years ago.
Yeah, he was.
Well, yeah, they always have. I remember they had Tom DeLay on.
They had Tom DeLay. They had
Sarah Palin's daughter.
Tucker Carlson, Sarah Palin's daughter. That
Rick Perry.
Wasn't Sarah Palin herself on one, or
she was on Masked Singer.
Oh, that's right, Rick Perry.
Yep.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
Tom DeLay. I forgot about Tom DeLay, but yeah, he was on there.
Yeah, Tom DeLay. That guy sucked.
All right, so we have another New York story to kind of round this out, and then we have a fun thing at the end.
Yeah.
But the Daniel Penny, the guy who killed that guy in the subway, is on a fundraising rampage, which is better than the murderous rampage he was on.
There's definitely GoFundMe's for him. So this is a guy who killed a homeless person.
Yes.
We were talking about that. I don't know. Did we talk about this before the podcast when you called him a vigilante or he's being?
Yeah, I called him a vigilante. Which I do think is better than Good Samaritan for sure.
Well, yeah, he's definitely not a good Samaritan. We should that should be just pulled away. No, you're not allowed to say he's good. Like when they called that idiot that attacked that person at fucking Marshall's or wherever it was.
Right.
Like they were like a good Samaritan. Like that's not a good Samaritan.
No, you could even it could even be a good thing and not be a good Samaritan. A good Samaritan
stop muggings, maybe. That's or I don't know, help old ladies cross the street.
Well, regardless.
But yeah, this guy, they're calling him a vigilante. But then even then, I'm like, vigilantes, when I think of vigilante, I think of somebody who thinks that they could stop crime or whatever. Take law enforcement in their own hand. But was this guy, is there any actual proof besides right-wing racists wanting to attack homeless people and stuff? Is there any proof that this guy was committing a crime except being a homeless person in New York City? And Penny put him in a chokehold and killed him. Right.
That's the thing I heard over the week that kind of got me turned around. I always thought Daniel Penny was wrong. I just in my head I was like, how wrong is he? That's what I was kind of debating. And someone came out and said, and I forget the person who was killed, I forget their name, but someone's like, well, what crime were they committing when they were killed? And it became pretty obvious that they weren't, they weren't committing a crime. And that's a big realization.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I don't even think it's fair to even call this guy a vigilante. I'm just saying he's a straight up fucking murderer.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good point.
Vigilantism to me, like, there's a little bit of a heroic bent to when you hear the term vigilante. Batman's a vigilante.
Yeah, but Batman's got
Spider-Man's a vigilante. Edge. What?
Vigilante's a weird word because it generally means,
like, if you shot somebody who was robbing a liquor store, let's say, and you were not the guy who owned it or worked there, you did it. You're a fucking vigilante. To me, that's a vigilante.
I would say that the difference, and I haven't looked up the word, but like, if I'm at a liquor store and I'm carrying a weapon and someone robs the liquor store and I stop them, then I think I'm just like a hero. A vigilante, like the word vigil, means like you go out looking for this shit. That's the difference. Like,
no way that asshole was looking out for this. It just happened.
No. I mean, like they go out looking for shit to get worked up over and then be violent over. Like that's why I would say like a vigilante is different than a
I don't know, dude. Vigilante. Let's look it up. The definition of a vigilante.
All right.
The Punisher. Member of a self-appointed group of citizens who undertake law enforcement in their community without legal authority, typically because the legal agencies are thought to be inadequate.
Yeah. See, that is like someone standing vigil,
but
like
that is not what this guy was. This guy was some fucking bridge and tunnel person who, I guess, again, don't know the full story, or like, I don't know, it wasn't there, but I guess this homeless person was bothering people. And this guy, I don't know how it escalated to the point where this guy felt the need that he had to put him in a fucking leg lock and then choke him to death.
Well, regardless of what it is, this guy is going to claim that at trial. He's going to claim
lawyers will,
yeah, I was protecting people, and I don't see it anymore. Like I see, like when I go out or when I go downtown or to a entertainment district, I see all sorts of behavior that's debatable in nature. I mean, I've seen public urination. That doesn't mean I get to go injure that person. You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of what we're talking about here. I had initially had like some questions about like, well, what was going on? Like, how guilty is this guy? But it seems like he saw behavior that he didn't like and he killed the person for it. That's what it seems like. I don't think anyone was under threat. This guy didn't have a weapon, that he was brandishing or anything. So I don't know. I'm real curious how this pans out or how it plays out. I do think that Daniel Penny did something wrong. I think he should be prosecuted for it. I think he
got manslaughter.
Yeah, well, that makes sense because like murder, usually, if I understand it right, you have to plan to kill that person. Like you have to premeditate it. I don't think you could prove that Daniel Penny woke up that morning and said, you know what, I'm gonna kill someone today. I think it's more likely that he got all worked up, let his emotions get a hold of him, and he killed that person in cold blood, and then after the fact claimed all these justifications. But I think that's more like manslaughter to me than murder.
The reality is that the right wing media people, Tim Pool was proudly bragging that he donated $20,000 to this guy. All these people are saying this guy's a hero and demonizing this homeless person, but just like the way they demonized the victims of Kyle Rittenhouse. Like, to the point, it's disgusting. And like, I feel like the joke is that if you look at Daniel Penny, he's like what the right wing wishes Kyle Rittenhouse was. Like, this guy is tall and like he's fit, he's young. He could be like on a fucking The Bachelor or some shit.
I haven't seen him speak, but I'll bet you he speaks more eloquently
Imagine
than
he's like,
Rittenhouse.
hello, hi, my name's Daniel Penny.
Well, I'll bet you he sounds more intelligent than Rittenhouse, who just sounds like, honestly, on a good day, he just sounds like a kid. Like, okay, that's what a 7, like, he may be articulate.
That's what a 12-year-old sounds like, even though he's like 20.
Well,
yeah, but Rittenhouse is a little too. Problem with Rittenhouse is that Rittenhouse is a little too county fair.
Yeah.
And he doesn't star in The Bachelor. He's a background player on the show Hee Haw.
Yeah.
Or he's maybe could play construction worker number 4 that whistles at the lady walking by.
Wow. Yeah.
The other guy looks like he could be on one of those dumbass dating shows. And they're like, we need a better murderer. We need a better, Rittenhouse is just not doing it, like he's just a little too, he's eating a little too many pork pies.
Yeah. And he's and he's getting worse. And he's learning the worst lessons. I think
he's also being sued. He has his own lawsuits he has to deal with.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's like, well, how come they're not donating me or donating this guy?
What have you done for us lately, Kyle?
Yeah, Kyle, we haven't.
Who have you killed lately?
Yeah, dude, you're lazy, man. Get to work.
Well,
you have like a car dealership in another state to go defend that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Fuck this guy. I hope he gets like at least 10 years. I mean, he probably won't. I bet he gets like, I bet he gets like 5. I bet he gets like 3 to 5 years.
Well, the irony here is that he could probably like get out of it if he just sort of explained what happened, and like the system is set up to protect people like him. I mean, it wouldn't take much for him to get out of this if he were to play it smart and be like, I lost my cool because I'd been mugged by a homeless person previous. I mean, he probably figured
I was drunk.
Yeah, right.
Did they check his alcohol blood level? Probably not. He didn't get arrested until days later.
Yeah.
And isn't he like, he's not like in a prison. He's like home.
I think he's on pretrial release at home.
Yeah. So I mean, at least Rittenhouse was like stuck in prison for a couple of months after. I wonder if Ricky Schroeder will make a documentary.
Woof.
Well, yeah. Silver.
Oh God.
Silver Spooch.
That's funny. Well,
I don't know. We'll see. I just think again, it's just gross that it's just gross seeing how so many people are willing to throw their money into something awful always. You always see this, and you're like, who are these like chuds that are like, I got $500 laying around. I'm right. This guy. He's a hero. Like what? Or like Tim Pool's a millionaire, so like him saying 20,000. Like,
it makes
it's an investment for his chuddiness. I mean,
it's like advertising.
Yeah, but for like somebody who's like even being like, I'm going to donate $50 to this fucking Bridget murderer, like, like, I guess I don't need to eat tonight.
Yeah,
knowing that Daniel Penny will be free and can murder people. That's the only thing I need to.
I'll bet you it's a lot of older people that have a little disposable income or whatever.
Yeah, and it's always like some fucking political PACs and shit. I'm just curious. We'll see what happens. I think like if this guy, I don't think this will go the same way as Kyle Rittenhouse. I mean, this is New York.
It's New York.
I don't know, but I think this this is different. I think this guy might want to be quiet. We don't know this guy's like politics.
True. Yeah.
I mean, like, and it doesn't even matter. He still deserves to face charges. I don't care
but it will be different if he has a history of posting like MAGA stuff online, then he's fucked.
Or if he's posting shit like, man, fucking homeless people, man.
Right.
I want to just kill one. Like that fucking guy that like Abbott. Did Abbott ever pardon that guy? Or
No, that's still
just,
up in the air.
are they just hoping that kind of just
I think that,
fades into the wind and this guy's
I think so.
Because that guy murdered someone and posted on social media before that he wanted to murder people.
Yeah. I have not heard anything about that pardon. My guess is that they're trying to hope that it blows over and they can just ignore it. Ugh. Yeah.
Well, speaking of blowing over.
Yeah, okay. So the funny news is that Lauren Boebert's leaving her husband.
Why?
Well,
but she was like a super conservative, stand by your man.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing that happened with Marjorie Taylor Greene, is that Boebert.
Well, I think that was the other way around. I think the husband left her.
Oh, that could be. Well, Boebert said basically in her statement, like, my husband didn't sign up for this and we've been rocky and now we're moving on and I asked for your privacy or something that would normally be like a decent letter, except for the fact that she's made her whole brand on invading other people's privacy,
right? Bragging about like seeing Joe Biden's daughter's diary or right. Yeah, this woman, I love these people. They're like horrible and they attack people all the time, but they demand privacy. When let me read to you what her statement. It is dumb, believe it or not. I mean, dumb and Lauren Boebert. It's like, all right, let's see, where is it? Okay, here we go. I have spoken. Now I forget, like, Twitter as a fucking is, you can get long tweets now, and I'm like, great. Shit. I've always spoken highly of my marriage. My husband shows his dick more often.
That's not what she said.
more strangers have seen my husband's dick more than I have.
Yeah, over the last year.
I believe in the power our words hold. Oh, I believe in marriage. I believe in the power our words hold. That's why I'm divorcing him.
Right.
Jason, a man I spent half my life with, did not sign up to be a public limelight. And he certainly did not agree to be falsely accused of things he didn't do, like destroy someone's mailbox or threaten a neighbor's life. The stories reported about the process server and even Jason running over a mailbox are just complete lies that might be just 100% true. I had
I figured.
Jason doesn't sit around and cleaning guns and flashing his penis at young girls at the bowling alley. He certainly doesn't drink beer out of a glass just as much as he doesn't drink Bud Light. I can't believe she's like so corny that like you're posting a thing about your divorce and you're gonna date it by having this like corny right-wing grift of the Bud Light thing. Like 2 years, people gonna read that and be like, what?
No idea. It's not. Yeah, it's not a good reference.
Like that beer? Like what? Like I don't get it. Our home security footage shows he didn't sick dogs on the process server. The dogs were outside when the server pulled up, and when Jason used the kill switch word, the dogs. No, he didn't. They never showed aggression toward him, nor did he appear afraid of them as they munched on his groin over so violently. Our own security footage shows he didn't sick dogs on the Okay, our divorce is a private matter, but the misrepresentation must be addressed. Jason deserves his privacy, not slanderous stories that are true. Despite what others may say, I welcome your thoughts and fervent, heartfelt prayers for our broken family. My son knocked up a child.
Right.
It's weird that she ended it with that.
Yeah.
She said, my son.
Well, that is a separate
knocked
matter.
up a child.
It is weird. I mean, it's always like somewhat gratifying and also at the same time disappointing to see right-wing family values candidates do stuff like this. I mean, this happens all the time.
I mean, be normal people that same shit. Yeah, it's like they have unrealistic expectations for society, but they're allowed to be normal people. We're supposed to respect her, even though
that's the thing. You know, I mean,
like the right-wing grift, like attacking single mothers, families that experience divorce, single fathers. I mean, like, it's bullshit. Fuck her. You know what? It's just funny that her and Marjorie Taylor Greene, the two biggest fucking, like, possibly in the, I would say, top 5 worst politicians in the Republican Party.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Gosar would be in there.
Probably. Yeah.
George Santos, just by default.
Yeah. He's a shoo-in. First ballot Hall of Famer.
Well, yeah. Oh, definitely. I wonder what's going on with that. Did any updates on that? I mean, he was literally like, was he arrested or indicted or something?
Yeah, I don't know. I have not heard any updates.
So I saw, like, I don't know what's going on, but like I saw like all these right wingers are like demanding Adam Schiff resign, kicked out. All while, you know, the George Santos thing is going on.
Yeah.
But what did Adam Schiff do that they're demanding that he resigns?
He was one of the Trump prosecutors.
Is this a bullshit Durham report? Things like, which doesn't prove anything?
No. Yeah. Yes, you're right. It is a Durham report, and you're also correct. It doesn't establish anything. You know, it offers some conjecture.
They said like the only thing was like one person had to like leave or resign or
something like that. Yeah,
because they didn't fill something out correctly. I mean, I'm shocked that the right wing is blowing up something out of proportion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, Adam Schiff has to resign while George Santos exists.
Yeah, no one's gonna buy that.
Well, hopefully a couple more people wake up in that district of Colorado, and by 2024 Boebert is gone.
It won't take much. You know, they almost did it last time. They can do it the next time. And I think that paradoxically, the Republicans are giving the Democrats and progressives all the fuel they need.
I mean, you know, like, why? You're a broken family now. I mean, this isn't conservative values. You're supposed to stay by your man. I wonder who she's gonna hook up with. Like, the guy Eisen wrote me a joke and said the funniest thing Pete Davidson could do right now is date Lauren Boebert. Yeah. I've had a picture of her, one of her normal photos, and I said, "Hey fellas, she's single." She looks like a Marty Croft villain.
Yeah.
What did you say? It's like so mean. Don't want to make fun of her appearance. I really don't. You know, me, I'm an Adonis, so I can.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I should tone it back because I'm an Adonis, and you.
Well, I think it is tough. It's easy and not right to go towards her appearance because she's got plenty of deficits and flaws.
But what did you like? Somebody drove by and saw her in the distance, and kind of squinted and said, "She's kind of cute. We can put her on."
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, I mean, she's pretty enough. She's just real tacky, you know, and she's horrid. She's a horror. Her personality is like
right. Maybe that's the thing that makes her ugly.
Yeah.
Did you see that thing where Bowman? What's his name? Bowman was having like a little tiff with Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh yeah, I did.
I did.
Yeah. I like that. I like that guy's attitude of standing up to people. And I hate this expression, but he's what they call like a happy warrior, you know?
Yeah, I hate that term, but it's great. Yeah, he's having a good time doing it.
Yeah.
And AOC just comes up to him and like, don't waste your time.
Right. And I get that like
anyway. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene saw AOC coming and she like
she turned. Yeah. I like that guy. And like you said, I mean, I don't love that phrase, but it's a good description.
No, he has no problem like just going up to these people. He kind of like, it's like he throws them off.
Yeah, because he's genuinely friendly, you know?
Yeah, he's friendly about it and he's willing to combat them on their bullshit, and they lose every time. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. You know,
that Thomas Massey guy, that guy. That one was a good one.
The one where he was against Byron, the guy from where I used to live in Florida.
Yeah, see, Byron Donald is just bullshit artist, and so is Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's why he was great against them. The Massey thing was just gross because Massey's gross.
Right. He's a ghoul. Yeah.
Like he's legitimately a disgusting ghoul. Like what's his name? Brian what?
But I think it's Brian. God, I would have been able to tell you. Byron.
I think that guy's just full of shit. And I think Marjotel Green's full of shit. They're like empty vessels that like have a couple of like, of talking points, and they can't really go outside of it. But Massey's just a straight up evil piece of shit.
Yeah.
I was glad to see Bowman like just fucking hammer him.
Yeah.
That was great. I'd love to see him have a discussion with Bobert. I think that would be funny.
That would be real
gratifying. I think Bobert would piss her pants.
Yeah.
I legitimately think she would she would like scream rape or something. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I think like she would freak the fuck out.
I think that's probable.
I definitely believe that. I'd love to see him go against. It's like awesome. It's like we're talking about like it's like these guys are like fighting or like
yeah.
Not really, no, because I mean, fuck it, he's been doing it. It's great. I want to see him take on Matt Gaetz. I think that would be a good one.
Oh yeah, that would be real good.
Jim Jordan would be a good one. There, you know what? They probably, as the word gets out that he does this, and with Marjotel Green, they're probably like,
yeah, we're not gonna
try to avoid him with like as much as possible.
Yeah, but they generally tend to find a way.
Yeah, no way Matt Gaetz fucking talks to that guy. Bowman will just like, I'm trying to think of who else would be a good one that's in the Congress. Like, I'd like to see Ted Cruz.
That Mean Jean Schmidt. I think she's from Ohio.
Mean Jean Schmidt.
Her name is Jean Schmidt, but they call her Mean Jean.
I thought you were gonna say like Mean Jean from WWE. Like,
no, she has all this.
Listen here.
That would be a good one to do.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, you would if you saw her. She looks like a witch.
George Santos would be a funny one.
That would be a great one. That would be a great one.
That'd be weird. I think Bowman would just feel bad for him. He like just like, I can't do this.
Right. Yeah.
Like, no. This is a waste of time. Try to think. Yeah. I don't know. I was shocked the Green one.
Yeah. I was too.
Watch it. Dude, she's such a fucking. She's ugh.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just funny. Yeah, these like conservative, ultra orthodox conservatives with their bullshit family values, and they're just hypocrites.
Yeah.
And again, I don't care. Listen, you know what? Her husband was probably fucking awful. And she left because he was awful to her in any way, physically or mentally, then good for her.
True.
I think she's horrible, but if it meant like there's a legit, like, I mean, it doesn't have to be a legit reason. Fucking do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
It's because you just were bored of him. I don't give a shit. But if it was like this guy clearly has a history of being awful.
Yeah.
Like harassing neighbors and the story about him flashing his privates.
That's a big one. Yeah.
Clearly, like, good for her if that's the case. I'm not trying to like, right,
yeah.
Call me and talk about it,
Yeah, no, sure.
Yeah. Listen, Lauren, you go. You get it, okay?
Well,
do this.
I think she loses next cycle, and I think Colorado and the country will be better for it.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, and she'll just go off to like whatever of the grift. I don't even know. But like I said, it's like these people are fucking hypocrites.
Yeah.
They can't live by their bullshit. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
I think Green's in a different situation because she's in an incredibly red district. Like I said, I always thought Boebert was in an incredibly red district, and I didn't realize that it was always purple. Even when she won in 2020. I always thought it was like, oh shit, it's just like a
deep red.
And it's not. I mean, it probably was more back then.
Probably.
Of course, she did spread a lot of COVID misinformation. There is a good chance that there were probably 500 to 1,000 voters that probably would have voted for her, make her win even bigger, but they're not around anymore.
They can't participate.
Because they listened to Dr. Boebert.
God, that's depressing. Well, we will see what comes of her this week. My guess is that she does.
Imagine she resigns.
Ah,
She's like, I need to spend more time with my the child that my son knocked up.
fuck.
Yeah, I think that girl was like 14 or something. He's like 17 or some shit.
Well, yeah, we'll see how that works out.
Imagine it. No way. Kevin McCarthy would never let her resign.
I think he would
No
fight
way.
against it. Yeah, he needs
If he won't
vote.
even let George Santos leave or be
Right.
removed, you think he's gonna let Boebert resign?
Yeah, I would imagine if he has any say in it, he'll try to convince her not to. Yeah.
How many seats? We'll wrap this up in a minute. How many seats does the Republicans? What's the majority?
I think they're up by 5. That would mean, okay, so that would be the number of Republican versus Democratic seats, number of Republican. Yeah, I know that the vote is real close. They're geez, that just pulled up statistics regarding the Republic of New Africa. I'm gonna say they're up by 5. Is that what you're thinking too?
I guess. I don't know. I didn't look it up.
I'm
taking your word for it.
seats. But he can't afford to lose any.
No,
not really.
He doesn't want to lose any because it just hurts him more and more. Even if he's holding it by 2 seats, I'm sure he would not want that.
All right, so it's 222 Republicans, 213 Democrats, which means that they technically have like a 9-seat advantage. So he could theoretically lose a few, but it gets dicey when you start replacing those few with Democrats.
Right, because those are both states with Democratic governors.
Yeah. Well, and the way election cycles have been going, Democrats have been on a tear. So
yeah, I don't think Boebert's going to lose anyway. I mean, I don't think she's going to leave. I was just like, best case scenario. She's probably just like, I'm a successful grifter now. I'm getting a new man. That's probably what's really going on.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
That could be.
Who is she dating? Let's see. What right-wing grifter is she with? Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
Ew.
I'd say
Hogging night with Kyle Rittenhouse. But what's it? Oh no, he's moving to Florida. Scott Baio announced he's leaving in California.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Because it's just so horrible. He's moving to Florida because he's old, and that's where old people retire.
I like how they still call him a star of Happy Days. You know, that show that was from
people are like, wait, what's Happy Days? What is that?
Right.
Like,
that was a long time ago.
People under 40 are like, what's like, are you like, what do you mean by Happy Days? Is that like an expression?
Yeah. They should clearly reference his most well-known work, Zapped. Yes. Zapped. With Willie Ames.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Willie Ames was in Charles in Charge.
Yeah, he was great.
Ames went on to do Bible Man.
That's right. Yeah.
He became like a big weirdo.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
I remember he was on like The Surreal Life a bunch of times.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And then trying to think what else Charles I will give him this. He was brilliant on Arrested Development as Bob Bob.
Oh yes, Scott Baio.
He was, well, it was a brilliant move. Henry Winkler, I guess, had another show he had to work on because he was kind of just like a recurring guest on Arrested Development. So he kind of left the show, or they wrote his character like he went to jail. I don't know.
Yeah.
Lawyer. And then they brought in a new lawyer. He was in a couple, I think it's only like a couple episodes in the last season. And it was, he played Bob Loblaw.
Yeah, that was great. And remember,
what?
He had a website, Bob Loblaw's Law Blog.
Yeah.
His law
blog.
And
he was, and it's great too, because the guy who narrates the show played Richie.
Yep.
And you got the Fonz on the show.
Yeah.
And what best to replace him with the Fonz, but with
Scott Baio.
Fonz, Chachi.
And he had those great commercials. Why should you go to jail for a crime someone else noticed? Like,
That's the judge. That's the lawyer that Penny guy got.
yeah, right. Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
Oh well.
All right. Well, you know what? On that note, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
You still going about
that?
Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That. Please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGOAT, Facebook, YSGOAT, and Twitter, YSGOAT. Thank you, and have a great day.